all right. We're too lazy to go to each other's places, so we're doing this on camera this year.
I mean, you could come over.
And no, it's fine.
So you're too lazy.
I'm lazy. I want to stay in my bed.
Says the person who never comes over to your place to review. You're the lazy one.
I have a nice place now with actual guest parking.
Okay, well, there's that. We'll talk about it. All right.
Anyway, we're gonna start off with the worst list. Now, you, for context, before we get started, you didn't do your usual catching up on all the horrible shit.
No, I didn't have the fucking bandwidth to watch a bunch of shitty movies this year again, but I watched enough movies this year that I'm like, I have enough to fill out the 10 list.
All right. So let's start off with, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I got one. That'll be old. Just
honorable mentions, but
it'll be old.
Old?
Yeah.
Old didn't even come close to making my list.
Yeah, old is not aggressively terrible, but it's just kind of like one of those things that I was watching, and it was so, especially knowing the comic that it was adapted from, it was just so like anything actually good about that movie that made you think about, mortality and everything came from someone else.
Yeah.
And it was watered down because Shyamalan wanted to make jokes out of it or whatever, or he wanted to insert weird things. Like Mid-Sized Sedan is not a character in the comic.
And it's up for debate whether or not that's the best or worst rapper name of all time.
Yes. So there's something about it which is just like he thinks he's clever, and sometimes he's not, which I hate to say because right now I'm currently really enjoying what I think is the best thing he's done in years, which is the TV show Servant.
Yeah, I think I've heard. That's on Apple Plus, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so good. It's absolutely worth $5 a month, and the third season just started, so I'm really excited to see what happens with that. Genuinely great, atmospheric, creepy thing. But Old was just so bland and just cringy and disappointing in so many ways. Like it just
not good.
Yeah.
I got 4 runner-ups because there's a lot of like I had to cut a lot of shit out and rearrange.
Yeah, you watched all the terrible things, so go for it.
So, and very quick order, The Little Things was very close to making my list. If you don't remember that movie, it was like the Denzel Washington, Jared Leto movie that came out in January.
Yeah, it was like January, February, and it came out on HBO too.
Yeah, it was a January movie, and it was like the most boring shit I saw all that entire year. It was like 2 hours of literally nothing happening.
Hang on. Okay, so which one's more boring and shitty? That or Devil All the Time?
I completely forgot about Devil All the Time, so I'm going to say this one because this is boring enough for me to remember.
Yeah, but you remember it from this recently because it's on your list for this year. Next year, we'll have to ask the same question and see if you also forgot this one.
That's a fair point. I'll give you that. I know because I watched that with Grant and we're both just saying like, just something happened, do something. Because every time we've seen like something would happen, it would just stretch it out to such an obscene way.
Just kidding.
Like there was a whole like chase sequence of Denzel watching like slowly getting on a roof to get away from cops and slowly making his way back down.
This would have been exciting if I was still in my 30s.
And then the whole of it leads to absolutely nothing because I think Jared Leto's the bad guy and it turns out that he isn't. He's just fucking with him, which in a better movie would have been a great twist. But here you're just like, well, you just wasted so much of my fucking time, you assholes.
You wasted the main character's time, but I also feel like you wasted mine, which is not the way this should go.
The other one is Without Remorse, the movie you're forced to watch because it would ruin that one clip for you.
I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've probably watched that 1 10-second clip enough times to be the runtime of the movie, and that's enough for me. So.
Honestly, like that's all you fucking need. Like the rest of it is just garbage.
This is the best. All right.
Another one is Resident Evil Return to Raccoon City. That one shouldn't be that surprising. What you see is what you get from the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And another one that thinks it's being really clever and it's just really fucking stupid is American Motion Picture.
American Motion Picture?
It's called American.
Oh, the cartoon?
The cartoon one.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It was one that I thought they were being really clever and smug and like saying, like, "Ooh, we're making commentary because of like." We're also doing dumb jokes, but it can't really. It's not clever to make it work.
I heard it's the kind of movie to watch if you still enjoy Family Guy, unironically.
It's more like if it's kind of like it's trying to be James Gunn without the talent. It's the best way to put it.
So like trying to be Metalocalypse or something.
Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, I get
It's
it.
like a lot of outdated references, a lot of bad jokes that go nowhere, and occasionally like a wink and a nod to the audience, like, this is the joke we're making. This is the whole point of the film. It's like, we get that. You're not good at it.
Mm-hmm.
All lean to pretty much nothing. So those are my runners up.
All right.
So let's have you start with off of number 10, because I feel like mine's gonna be more intensive.
Number 10 is Zola.
Oh yeah, we did see that last year.
Yeah. They took a story that was legitimately crazy and wild and fun and interesting. And I feel like the way that the director of this movie saw the characters in those tweets is very different from the way that I saw them. It's very low energy. It's not actually that funny or energetic. It's just, it takes what should have been like a really wild romp and just has this weird night where people were like, whoa, well, that's crazy. Like the climactic scene where, you know, someone gets shot.
Yeah.
It's not even that exciting. It's just like, oh, well, damn, that was crazy. There's no actual good escalation of tension or anything. It's a horribly directed film, which is a damn shame because, like, it could be really good. It could have been.
Zola seems like one of those films that either need to go like really wacky, violent comedy or like more serious drama. And I tried to have like cake and eat it too, and it just wasn't really working.
Yeah, it was a disappointment, especially knowing what it was based on. So yeah, putting that up there.
Right. Number 10. I'm gonna guess this movie's gonna come up on your list later. I put Profile as my number 10.
Okay.
Which is the movie you and I both kind of went into. I knew a little more about than you did. You just kind of knew vaguely what it was about.
I got so angry.
And then we actually got in there, and what we got was just the story of like the dumbest journalist of all time, falling for the most obvious shit and making the most obvious mistakes you can make. All of this like really pretentious overdraft, and the closing line for us still. The only thing I really remember strongly from that film was just the fear.
So here's my Letterboxd review for it. So you know I have a thing or two to say about it.
I'll let you talk about more when I assume we get to that spot in your list.
We'll
I know it's coming.
But I just love how the last line of my Letterboxd review is "fuck this movie."
But yeah, Profile is really I already don't like those kind of movies to begin with. So they were like this derivative and this awful and this honestly just distasteful and offensive to the subject matter. It's like, fucking hell. The only reason it's on the 10 spot is because at the very least you get a fair amount of unintentional laughs out of it. That's the only reason it's this low on the list.
The stupidest protagonist. There was a point where like I was rooting for the terrorists. And not because they were good people. Like I hated them. Fuck ISIS. Fuck all of them. But God, let this woman suffer some consequences. Like fuck this.
But the fear.
Yes. Right. Yeah, just a bizarre movie. We can dig into it. Yeah, when we get to it. Okay, so my number 9, and I'm kind of torn on this because the reason this is lower on my list, I feel like I hate it enough to go higher on my list, but the sheer fact of the matter is that it's just not bad enough to go higher on my list. I mainly hate it because it's a really bad, poorly thought out movie, but everyone fucking loves it for some reason, and it's still like, yeah. So my number 9 is A Quiet Place Part 2.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with Ghost of the Badlands, or the hell that Nicolas Cage movie.
No. Quiet Place Part 2 had, like, people said it was better than the first one. And somewhat, I guess, in the sense that its scope is bigger, but the decisions that the characters make in these two movies are so infuriatingly stupid. And the leeway that people give them, they're like, you know, in the first one where the kid, you know, is making noise and playing with the toy and he gets murdered in the first couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for Quiet Place Part 1. But like, people were justifying it to me as like, well, he's a kid. I'm like, yeah, but you know, Everyone else in the family knows that he shouldn't be doing that. Why would she give him back the toy? Why would they leave the toy with the batteries on the counter and walk away instead of taking him away from the thing that causes danger? Why would they leave him trailing all the way in the back and not keep an eye on him while they're walking? Like, there's so many fucking basic things that don't make sense. And every fucking plot beat in the movie feels so contrived and infuriatingly stupid. And, they have that thing with horror movies where you yell at the characters because you're like, don't do that, it's a stupid thing to do. Like, I don't do that with horror movies. This movie, constantly. Like, I know that like two of the main characters are kids, but I fucking hated them. I don't generally hate kids in movies, but these kids were fucking infuriating. And these are kids in this movie that, like, a lot of people really like them in this movie. They're like, yeah, brave kids. No, dumb as fuck kids. Like, they get people fucking killed. It's so stupid. And the concepts they have, like that part where they go out on the docks and there's like that weird little cult that is like that ambushes them. The leader of that cult is actually a really good actor that I'm a big fan of. He was the lead in Halt and Catch Fire, that TV show on AMC a few years back. I really like that actor. He had like 2 minutes on screen and he was just like told to act like weird and creepy. And then, it doesn't make sense how they construct these scenes. And if you're going to have a kid be that stupid to have this shit happen in these scenarios where they just don't think of this stuff, they can't be smart enough to get through the other stuff that they do. It's so inconsistent. It drives me fucking crazy. And I hate all of the characters in it. I do not care. Even the baby. Fuck the baby. I don't care. I hated that movie. I hate that movie. And I hate everyone who's like, I love this movie. It's just, ugh. Which sucks because I know some people that I love very much who really enjoy that movie. And I'm like, I don't trust you. Yeah. So.
I don't quite have, I'm really liking it fine. It didn't make my best
I know.
list, if you're wondering.
I know, Michael. What's your number 9, Michael?
Well, speaking of movies that everyone else loved, but I hated, this is one of 3 that falls in the category in this list. I know for a fact which one of them is yours, and I know it shares the same spot on the list.
All right.
My first one, that movie I hate, everyone else loved, is King Richard.
Okay.
King Richard,
I did not watch
number
that.
9.
I couldn't put myself through that.
Because fuck this movie. And like, this is one of those cases where I already was angry and infuriated when I saw it the first time. And then I put the review online, and then its defenders came in and started giving me shit, and like on Twitter and stuff like that. I'm like,
go fuck yourselves.
Fuck all of you. Like, fuck you in particular for defending this crap. Because it's all the same fucking argument of like, well, it all worked out in the end, so that makes it okay. It's like, no! This worked out exactly one time. Even then, that's kind of questionable.
The success justifies the abuse.
Pretty much. And that's a justification for all of this. They raise this guy out to be this prophetic person, despite the fact the real one was a fucking monster.
By that measure, what is it? The girl who played Kat on iCarly?
I never watched iCarly, so I don't know.
No, it's kind of become famous over the past few years because her mom, like, was one of those moms that does not care about the well-being of the child and just forces them to do stuff even with all the pressure and has no empathy for them, and then like takes all of their money for themselves and wastes it on drugs and shit. Like, her mom was awful, and only over the past few years has she started to be able to come out and talk about it and like make it known exactly the kind of shit that happens internally on like famous kids. And by this fucking logic, because she got a spot on a really famous show and she's still famous, like, it's fine. But if you ask her, it's not. And I don't know, like, what's up with the Williams sisters that they really, really still like lionize him for that in a way that they put this movie out. Yeah, and it still has all of the stuff in it that where you can look and say, like, this isn't okay.
Like, they're trying to like romanticize this and play us up. Like, yeah, this is what made him a good parent. This is why they're successful. I'm like,
yeah.
This one, I always tell Defenders movie the same thing. It's like, okay, let me ask you, how many people do you know with parents that try to control literally every aspect of their lives from the moment they were born? And now, of those people, how many of them are still talking to their parents?
Having just watched The Virgin Suicides, that's
Yeah, like,
interesting companion piece. And that's another thing about this movie. Like, it is actively harmful.
yeah.
Like, how many fucking assholes do you think are out there watching this and being like, you know what? This justifies how I'd raise my kids. I'm going to raise
this
the
is
next Serena
boomer
Williams.
justification. Like this, like it really is from like the worst lifestyle, like the worst parental advice you can possibly give. Say it's okay if it works out. It's okay no matter what you're doing, despite the fact the real King Richard was a manipulative bastard to the point where he hid his wife's birth control so he could have him in the first place. This is completely true. He admitted this on camera, and he was a brag. That's the kind of person the real King Richard is. None of that's in the movie. There's a part where like they make reference like for a second about the family he left behind, which is also what happened. They bring it for a second, and you think, oh, finally, someone is calling him out on his bullshit. They're actually doing something. Nope, dropped immediately, never brought up again. It's immediately brought back up like, oh, but he's asking his daughter what she wants now, which happens to be what he wants. So it's all okay because he's learned a lesson out of this. And they're like, no, fuck that. Even during the whole final tennis match or whatever, it still cuts to him talking to anyone now who will listen about, my wife taught her that move. Like, that's my daughter up there. Like, no matter what it is him constantly making it about himself. Constantly. Every step of the way. And there's no attempt to like actively critique this. There's no attempt to actually address any of the harmful elements of this. It is a 2-hour exercise in the end, justify the means. And I
it's glorification all the way through. Yeah.
Fucking can't stand that. Especially somebody who has my own personal dad issues, as has been well established on previous videos. I was like, no, fuck you and fuck anyone that claims guys like an inspirational figure. I was like, fuck off.
Yep.
So that was my number 9. Number 8.
Okay, so number 8.
Yes.
And I'm sure you also have this on your list, but if it's on, like, let's talk about it together.
I can never go with this.
We can wait until we get to your entry if you want, but Prisoners of the Ghostland.
This is gonna surprise you. It's actually not on my list.
No?
It was one of the ones I had to cut out early.
Oh wow. Yeah, it is just kind of aggressively bland, huh?
Yeah, it's one that it did not stir enough it didn't stir nearly as strong enough emotions it did in me as it did in you.
It's one of those movies where I was so aggressively bored with it that I got irritated, and every time it attempted to do something cool or emotional, I was just like, okay, just it's actively insulting to the viewer's intelligence, and it just was not entertaining all the way through. And people were like, hey man, any movie where it's like Nicolas Cage is screaming to the heavens holding one of his balls in his hand is one of like that's cinema gold. I'm like, all right, cool.
I mean,
enjoy your trash.
Cases out of 10, I would also be totally down for that. This is the 1 in 10.
Yeah, imagine a movie that's directed so poorly that is made boring.
Yep.
It's forced. It weirdly it feels like the worst acting that Nicolas Cage has done in a long time that I've seen. And the sense that like it's not just him acting intensely in a shitty role, he really feels like he's forcing it in this movie in a way that I haven't seen him do in a while, even in his low budget movies. I've watched things like Stolen and like just there have literally been nights where I just search for Nicolas Cage on Netflix and binge like 3 Nicolas Cage movies in a row. I've done this occasionally for years now, and seriously,
this is where I have to remind myself Left Behind came out like 5 years ago.
Jesus, I forgot he was in that. I forgot that was even a movie. But that's the thing, like it feels forced. It doesn't feel, and he's such a good actor. He can do so well, but he clearly was just like, okay, I'm gonna do this weird movie because I guess that's what people want now. But you watch Willy's Wonderland, and it's a way more interesting and fun movie.
It really is.
While being way lower budget, way less elaborate, and like, God, the fucking slow motion flashbacks in this movie fucking killed me. I did not care. And I'm a Zack Snyder fan. I don't mind slow motion. Like, I know it's everywhere, and flashbacks, that's a big thing. Like, melodrama is not a problem. It can be done well. It was not done well here. Sion Sono continues to be a like complete disconnect from anything I'm interested in. So that's number 8.
All right. Well, my number 8 is the second of movies that everyone else loved that I hated. In the Heights made my number 8.
Oh boy, I'm interested to hear this one.
Now, I need to add a disclaimer because that I've gotten some comments on there and they're valid. Like, I'll give them this. To my understanding, the film changes a lot from the play, especially in terms of its ending. So sure. I'm willing to give a little bit of like give, like, okay. Because if you go back and watch that review, I gave Lin-Manuel Miranda a lot of shit in that review.
Hold your laptop steady a little bit because it's really wobbling a lot.
I know. Sorry. Is that better?
Generally, it's not a problem, but like it's making me like, whoa.
Yeah. So that I remember saying that review, and I still stand by it. That In the Heights is such a horribly sanitized and whitewashed attempt at looking at Puerto Rican culture in New York City to the point where it's borderline fucking insulting. Where it brings up like, my issue with it, I brought something in the review is I feel like Lin-Manuel Miranda, and again, I can't speak for the original play. I haven't seen it.
Sure.
But I can't speak for like between this and Hamilton. My issue is like it feels like he wants to talk about political things, but he doesn't want to actually talk about them. He wants to give him lip service and then do nothing else.
Yeah.
And you can like Hamilton. There's nothing wrong with liking Hamilton. I'm not gonna bash anyone for liking Hamilton.
I mean, a lot of people like Hamilton. Exactly. A lot of people like Hamilton.
They're like, that's more like, but it does promote American myth making.
Oh, of course.
But that's because like, okay, it's great for representation, all these things, but it's made for right audience, so it's not going to push the boundary any too far. And In the Heights suffers from the same problem. I remember the part that really pissed me off because I was already not liking this movie. I found the protagonist just annoyingly whimsical.
Just to cut the tension for a second though, my dad just sent me a photo of our family cat, so he looks very upset. Maybe he also just watched In the Heights. Yeah, but anyway, sorry, go on. I think I should share that.
It's a cute cat. But like I think the protagonist was just annoyingly whimsical, like almost has like that cartoon Aladdin stare off into the distance, but it's still a movie that's supposed to be about gentrification. So it's kind of like, this feels out of place. He's like all these charming songs by his this girl that he wants to be with, and yada yada yada. And then he'll have these moments where you think it's going to go something deeper, something where it's like it actually wants to go into these more serious topics, and then drops it right away without saying a goddamn thing about it. And I'm like, okay, fine. If you don't want to get political, I don't care. Don't fucking bring it up if you're not going to do anything with it.
Yeah.
And I remember the part where I lost my shit because I watched this at home, so I could yell at the screen. It was a part where is this?
Knew it was coming, huh?
Yeah. So there's this whole song dance. He goes like, power goes out in the Puerto Rican neighborhood. Everyone's freaking out.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be like blistering heat summer, and I remember they start having a dance party in the block because we like everyone's so sad. Let's have a dance party and all these things. So they start having this big song and dance number. Everyone's like happy and party, like yay, it'll go us, yippee-ki-yay. Well, except they don't say that because but and there's a part where like one of the younger people they establish is like
Puerto Rican John McClane.
I'm not even gonna try to. I'm not the person to do that. But anyway, this part, like the youngest person who's very clearly like the young kid, like the young teenager kind of person, comes up there and is like, "What is wrong with all of you? They like the power's been off for 5 days. They don't care about us." Which I'm like, that is a good point. We should talk about that more. And then the main character comes in and basically says, "Hey, don't be a bummer. Let's sing and dance." And they go back to the musical number, and their singing and dancing magically brings the power back. That's when I was like,
wow.
Fuck you, movie.
Wow, buddy.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
And some of the changes they make, I'll let you get a second back. I can decide what's in my head. And some of the changes, I looked up some of the changes from the play to the movie. And some of them are just weirdly baffling. Like they try to modernize it, but also took away some of the more interesting elements of it. Yeah. Like one of the other, I forget their names. Like one of these person is like a traffic director is black, and he's in love with like his Puerto Rican woman. And in the play, she's like in the play, like I guess her father, who's played by fucking Princess Leia's dad from Star Wars,
Darth Vader,
her adopted dad. But anyway, look it up later. But anyway, in the play,
James Earl Jones.
No. In the play, like he's against their relationship because he's black. Because I guess there's some stigma between like black and Puerto Rican families. And in the play, not only they take that out, they replaced it with her being a college dropout because of some white microaggression. And which again is brought up once and then never brought up again. Like there's a whole thing about like them winning the lottery or something like that, and then it brings back to it's like they talk about immigration. The young kid who is like the only smart one in the group, who brought up the fact that white people don't care about Puerto Rican people, is also the one like, well, he's not there legally, so we're gonna do something about this, right? Nope, not till the very end of the movie where the main character, this does not happen in the play, like uses the lottery money he wins to get him like an immigration attorney, which by the way, those attorneys work pro bono. So already it's like you're wasting a lot of money on a con man here is what's happening. So it's this incredibly frustrating like pick and pull of like, okay, cool, it's like some of the songs are catchy, sure, it's very clearly like early Lin-Manuel Miranda before he really figured out what the hell he was doing. But it's also like it's so infuriating. It's like you could do something with this, especially if you're revisiting your old material, bring more interesting political stuff in there because you have that power now, but you tease doing that and then you do nothing with it. And I know it's not entirely fair. I recognize that's not entirely fair. But it feels like it's designed that way to not alienate a white audience. And that's the main issue, frustration I have with it.
So I've been getting this impression, especially recently, that Lin-Manuel Miranda has grown comfortable and also increasingly Disney-fied as he's written more songs for Disney and worked directly with Disney more. There's kind of this homogenization or sanitization of his work that's happened. Mm-hmm. But I'm not a big enough fan, or I don't watch musicals generally. So I'm not opposed to them necessarily, but it's not like it's going to be my choice to watch amongst the movies available. Although I did watch West Side Story, which is its own thing. But I think that there's a video from Quentin Reviews that you might be interested in from like a year ago, called The Wishful Idealism of Hamilton. Mm-hmm. And he goes into a lot of the same things that you're talking about right now, where it really seems to be there's this weird thing where he wants to talk about the political shit, but somehow stays just shy of actually talking about it, and more wants to just tell the story rather than dig into the consequence.
And this is something we'll talk about later tonight too, but like and that's kind of what I was saying, like honestly, Lin-Manuel Miranda, I've seen enough of his work. I'm not like a huge fan or anything like that. I kind of it's fine. But like I do find his material looks better when it is like animated, when it is like strictly more like DreamWorks or Disney or something like that, because like you don't need to go political there. So you can just focus on doing what you want to do, which is increase diversity and have catchy songs to it. And like that's all cool.
Sure.
But it's like when you try to get political and then you shy away because you're used to your Broadway audience, which is, let's be fair, mostly white.
Yeah.
And that, Broadway white people aren't going to pay for expensive Broadway tickets if they're going to feel like they heavily criticized throughout the entire thing. So I understand the
Mike Pence
of it, but what was that?
Like Mike Pence.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah, so In the Heights, very frustrating film. I don't hold it against, I understand why it is the way it is, but it doesn't make it any less frustrating.
Yeah. So, next one.
Yep. Number 7.
Number 7 for me, from the director of Night Watch, Day Watch, and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, Profile.
Oh, here we go. Yep.
Now, here's the fun thing. Since I watched this movie, I have actually gone back and watched both Unfriended movies. And
About that, yeah.
the first one was actually decently fun and hokey. And the second one I thought was way better than it deserved to be. But he was only involved as a producer. He wasn't actually directing it at all. So this is the first movie of these types that he's actually directing. And holy shit. Holy shit. We have a protagonist who is stupid, scattered, inept, racist, and just like flat out every step of the way makes the dumbest decisions that she possibly could.
Yep.
Just decides, hey, I need a story. What if I catfish ISIS? Journalist of the year, and then ends up actually falling in love with her abusive fucking like recruiter, and to the point where she causes a crazy fucking scene in a diner, like just and it's this thing where you barely know this guy. You've chatted with him a few times, and you are screaming and crying and freaking out because you thought he got blown up over fucking video chat. Spoiler alert! But like, she literally starts freaking out and falls down crying and screaming in the middle of a fucking public place, talking to a terrorist on video chat in public.
Yep.
Are you really? This is our protagonist. This is who we're meant to root for. Why? Because she's white and from the West, like, and she's lying to them every step of the way, and she's not keeping track of shit along the way. And it is so infuriating how every single piece of this is constructed, and we're supposed to root for this fucking woman. Yep. And just God, let me just quickly skim through here. Aside from the stupid fucking technical issues where I have like 4 paragraphs about it, and then the sentence I say, but even brushing all of this aside, the biggest problem of the movie is Amy by a wide margin. Amy is a fucking stupid mess. Within the first few minutes, she shows herself to be the careless, unprofessional, and racist. It's one thing to be overwhelmed by things that are going on all the time. It's another to waltz into something incredibly dangerous and then fly off the handle at everyone else around you for not helping you in the exact way that you need, exactly when you say it. That's Amy. And like, oh God. And her typing skills, her spelling errors throughout the whole thing. She's supposed to be a fucking journalist, and she types like a fucking, oh God, just the worst kind of high schooler or middle schooler. Just like, she makes a Facebook account and accidentally uses a real picture of herself, which doesn't make sense because she didn't, we watch her create the account and she doesn't do anything that would trigger that. And like, oh God, the whole movie is no better than this. It just stays at this level of stupidity all the way through. It is contrived from front to back, and at no point do I actually root for this woman. Like I said, I was rooting for the terrorists just because this woman sucked so much. It would be great if she got in danger and they came after her and she died in the process, but they got caught in the process too. So in some way, she actually helped catch some terrorists. But like,
nope.
Anyone who does something this stupid, this recklessly, does not deserve to be lionized, does not deserve to be glorified in any fucking way. This was dumb. This was really dumb. And like, go back and look at the review that we did for it, because I am so angry. We review it in the car because I don't want to wait to get home. I'm like, I'm too angry to waste. Like, we have to do it while it's still fresh and hot. The thing we keep quoting is at the very end, like, she, like, the video, like, he basically figures out who she is and where she lives and puts out like a jihad on her to all of his terrorist buddies, and he exposes where she lives, her real name, and photos of her, and calls for a fatwa on her. And she's horrified and scared. Her boss advises her to move and change her number. She pauses for a bit, and then you see her type, oh yeah, they threatened to release all this shit if she releases the story.
Yeah, that's right.
And so she pauses and then tells her boss, run the story. And he says, but they said they'd kill you. And she literally types, "They're not the ones that will kill us. It's the fear that we need to be worried about." And then in all caps, "the fear." It was it was really funny. It is the worst brand of rock-headed Western fucking, we just gotta believe in ourselves, man, and we could just like evade a worldwide network of murderers with a lot of fucking resources and ruthless efficiency at doxing and murdering people. We just gotta, we just, instead of taking any precautions to protect myself after catfishing ISIS, I'm just going to be like, you know what? I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to sit where they know I am under my real name and with my original phone number, because the only thing to fear is fear itself. There's no need to be afraid of ISIS. Murderers, terrorists, genuinely horrifying, scary people who murder highly trained killers every day. Me, little Miss Dumbass journalist who can't figure out how to, not flash my real name at the camera when I'm talking to my fucking catfish victim. I'm going to be the one to stand up to them and be like, you know what? You can't win. I'm not scared of you. No, I don't fucking care. Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie, dude. Yeah. It was so irritatingly bad. I fucking hated it so much. And it's the kind of hate that I forget how much I hate it until I start talking about it again. I'm like, oh, God.
That happens every year. There's always one that's like, I don't really hate it that much. And then you start talking about it, and then it's like it's almost like going through PTSD all over again. Like the memories start coming back.
Yeah. So that might happen on number 5, but definitely from number 4 on, it's going to be full bore, nothing but that. So let's go, baby. What's your number 7?
The next 4 on this list are mostly sequels.
Interesting.
So the first sequel we're going to talk about is also the one I'm the most deeply fascinated by, which is Peter Rabbit 2.
Wait, that made it only worse stuff? I thought it was weird.
It is weird. I still acknowledge it's really bad, but at the same time, it's in that weird category of bad that kind of defies explanation. Which is mostly why I made this list.
Yeah.
Because this is a story I've told you, I've told Chris, I've told everyone who will listen to me talk about Peter Rabbit 2, because I need somebody to believe me.
No, I'll watch it. I'll watch it at some point. I definitely will.
I think I made Matthew watch it, if I remember correctly. But Peter Rabbit 2 is the most fascinating social experiment of a movie that... Oh.
It's on Netflix. I'm still watching this.
A movie that just hates itself so fucking much. It hates how cynical it is. It hates how manufactured it is. And it hates every inch of its body except for the contrived pieces, which is in every one of these goddamn sequels. So it's so bizarre to have the half of this movie be just James Corden, that motherfucker, just doing weird.
You hate him so much.
I fucking can't stand James Corden. You know what? Shit's come out about him since then has validated my beliefs.
Hey, just remember, we without this movie, we wouldn't have the Eternals. So
that is certainly a way of looking at it.
Probably where he sold his soul to come around to this. Jesus.
God damn. So
wow, this is the dude who directed the fucking Friends with Benefits movie with Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake.
I guess I never saw
and the Annie movie.
That tracks.
From 2014.
So again, for those who haven't seen the review for this and just the weird rabbit hole that this film is, my work.
Sorry, I just saw the average ratings for Annie. They're not kind.
It's not good. The theory I have for this movie, because we looked at the writing credits, this is before the Eternals came out, was that this movie has 2 writing credits. One from I think the director of the movie, and the other one from this young upstart who only had a few upstart. Close enough. I'm sorry. No,
I'm just imagining a shark that doesn't make it out and just goes between the ass cracks at the top, just boom, right up the back. Just awful. Right.
Okay. Anyway. So
we're
the other
adults.
half is written by this person who didn't have a lot of writing credits to their name. So the way I imagined this was like a Shawshank Redemption kind of thing, where it's just one person who's been sitting there like, I'm an institutionalized man now, Red. I can't do this shit anymore. And the other one just so fucking mad that they have to write the script for Peter Rabbit 2, and they are just like, they've given so many producer notes, and they've been blocked 5 ways to Sunday for doing anything interesting or creative, and they're just like, fuck you, I'm gonna write this, I'm gonna write you into the fucking movie, you goddamn producer hacks. Like, you fucking stifling creative freedom from real artists. I'm gonna write you into the goddamn movie. I'm gonna point out how fucking cynical your goddamn movie is. I'm gonna have them wink to the camera and point out how cynical the movie is. We're gonna make billboards in the movie about your shitty movie that you're currently watching, and it's all gonna be in there. And producers, completely missing the joke, looked at this and go, hey, this is great. Like this immediately. Because the whole other B plot for this movie is like the woman who wrote like the Peter Jackson the books, the actual like books, gets called out by like this famous.
Wait, did you say Peter Jackson?
Peter Jackson, yes, Peter Jackson the books. I'm just full of it today. Peter Rabbit the Peter Jackson the Upstart.
I'm just imagining Lord of the Rings starring a whole bunch of fucking farm animals.
I would actually watch that.
Yeah, Animal Farm meets Lord of the Rings. I'd be into it.
It's called Narnia. Anyway, but anywho, so this movie is about the author being approached by this big, like, fancy, famous producer and saying like, I can bring your bunnies to life, and that kind of spiel. And they get over there and they immediately start going like, the minute she signs the contract, it's like, all right, we're gonna hippify these bunnies. They start pouring like concepts art, like that came in the early 2000s of like them with like skateboards and shit.
Oh god.
And at the point, there's actually a line in the movie where they go like, yeah, they'll probably get some American director to like hack it to pieces or something like that. To which case, the movie stops, cuts to one of the bunnies who just does this look at the camera.
See, and here's the thing. You say all these things, and it just makes me want to watch it.
I know.
These are not bad things. Why is this so high on your list?
It's more just, it's one of the things, like, if I felt like that was the point, was to just shamelessly hate on itself, then I'd probably put this on my best list, because that's a fucking brilliant like joke.
It sounds like the kind of shit that I wish I saw in more movies. It's amazing.
But then you have the other half of the movie, which just does not jive with this half at all.
Okay, all right. So it's like if the Matrix Resurrections didn't have
the self-awareness
like,
behind
they
it.
They dunked on the producers, but then actually had to make a shitty movie.
Because like that's why I have this theory about the writers, because it feels like two entirely different films that got smushed together and like vaguely go together. One half is amazing and just a fascinating examination of self-hatred. And the other half,
but then the bad half, the half that landed on your list, is like,
the other half is just so boring and contrived, and you don't give a shit, and you just want to go back to the weird meta commentary happening the other side. And it just more like it is the most bizarre, worst film I've seen this year, which is kind of saying something considering some of the other ones on here. I can't get myself to hate it enough to put it higher on the list. That being said, it is just a weird Frankenstein's monster of a bad film. I feel like it needs to go on the list, despite the fact that in a weird way, I did kind of enjoy it.
All right, then. Well, that's an interesting one.
We're on number 6, I believe.
All right. Oh, I know.
Okay.
I know what's coming up.
All right.
And I don't know if this is potentially also your number 6. If it is, let's go. But number 6 for me is The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It.
See, you're gonna be mad at me. That did not make my list.
How?
Because of the movie that's on my number 6 spot.
Oh my god, it was so bad. And it's also, I'm confused because now like this is also a sequel, and like this isn't one of the 4 sequels that you just talked about. Like,
you'll know why the other ones were chosen over The Conjuring.
Oh, I'm sure. But yeah, this was an incredibly boring movie. and it was really trite and it was really contrived, and it just, I remember maybe half of it or even a third of it, but I just remember that all of the things in it that were actually even remotely close to being interesting, making an actual cool horror movie out of these two fucking charlatans, um they were just really overwritten and terrible. They were clearly told to like push their acting way past where acting should be. And to their credit, they're way too good for this fucking movie.
Yeah.
This movie does not deserve them, but I'm sure it came with a good paycheck, and you got to get paid. So
absolutely.
I really hope they fucking got paid. But this movie doesn't deserve the two of them at all. It's not good. It's just really boring, contrite, and I don't have much to say about it other than it was just basically worthless.
I think it's the reason it didn't make my list is just because it when I went back and thought about it, is like it left no impact, no strong emotions, like barely remembering it all. And like those movies, like those ones don't get the list for me most of the time, unless it's like exceptionally boring, which this one just didn't quite cross the boundary for me.
This did the thing where, short of being outright offensive, it did something that I generally find difficult to forgive, which has made me feel like it was actively wasting my time for the majority of the movie. And I just don't abide well by that. So anyway, that was short. There's really not much to say about it. It really just sucks that much. Fair. So go ahead.
My number 6 is The Boss Baby 2.
Oh, just to give you an idea of the exemplary acting from Patrick Wilson in this. Here's a face he makes.
Oh yeah, he does make that face.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So Boss Baby 2. That one I saw with Matt. We saw it at his house because he has Paramount Plus, and I didn't want to pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a case where we got about 2 minutes in before he pauses and goes, "All right, I'm getting the whiskey."
To be fair, if we'd watched Cats at home, we probably would have done the same thing.
Yep. So I got a little drunk to watch this, I will admit, right off the bat.
Which we did do the second time we went to watch Cats.
That's true. God, Cats was a fascinating experience.
Never let it die. Never ever.
But this is a case of like sober, drunk, or high, nothing would have helped this movie make more sense. Like at any point during any state. It is the most baffling fever dream of a DreamWorks film I've seen in a long time, to the point of, hey, do you want to see let me just explain briefly what happens here. So in this case, Alec Baldwin is an adult now, and he goes back to visit his brother, who's not played by Tobey Maguire this time, because I guess he said no. Can't imagine
paying him enough for this.
The brother, by the way, still as insane he was in the first one. If you didn't see the first one, because how could you miss the masterpiece? It is the first Boss Baby. He would have these vapid hallucinations of like what they were called his imagination, but really just high intense fever dreams. And he still has them as an adult for his daughter, which is like, okay, that'd be kind of cute, even the one that's so manic in the presentation. But his baby daughter turns out to also be a boss baby, and he turns him back to children to infiltrate an IT school led by was that
with magic?
Basically, it's like a magic bottle that turns him back into like children and baby, respectively. It's like,
and they go to baby IT school.
Yes, that's not where it gets weird.
Okay. Keep going, buddy.
After they turn back into children, they get into a fight and have a nipple twisting fight, like pulling on them like the rubber bands. This happens, and they go to they infiltrate the baby IT school that is led by Jeff Goldblum, who looks like kind of like, the stereotypical like smart guy in the movies where he's like bald and has those weird hairs on the side and he's kind of fat.
Sure.
So like that kind of stereotype. And you think like, okay,
Dr. Scott.
Yeah. So like, okay, so clearly he's the villain, which he is.
Dr. Scott.
But that's not where it gets weird. The weird part is when he talks to the Alec Baldwin, because he knows the baby can talk, and he knows. Yeah. And why do you think he knows that, Muha?
Because he also baby talk.
No, because he's also a baby.
Yes.
With an old man face.
What?
Yes.
Oh, this just sounds upsetting.
So there, you have to watch the disturbing transformation from old man Jeff Goldblum to baby old man Jeff Goldblum, and it never gets better at any point during the film you're watching this. And it's the most jarring thing. And his evil plan is he has baby programmers like in the back of the IT group who are like reprogramming shit. So like I don't even remember what the plot, like the villainous plot was. It was like something brainwashing. I don't know, but it got really. That's where it got weird. Of Alec Baldwin like kind of being indoctrinated into the Jeff Goldblum like I don't know Facebook Academy.
Okay.
But you know with babies and like it gets really weird really fast and it doesn't improve. And you're sitting there like, what the fuck is even happening? And at no point does it make sense. At no point do they even try to make it make sense. They saw how the first one got reactions because it was so bizarre. And it's like, maybe we just dial it up with no context. That'll make it better. And that's the angle they went with it. And it's an insufferable experience. And I wish I had more whiskey when I watched it.
That was exhausting even to listen to.
Yeah.
All right.
Next one's gonna be
That's your number 6.
That was my number 6.
Jesus Christ. All right. Top 5 are going to be fun.
Yep. Top 5. Go for it.
All right. So another movie where it's one of those things where I was a little conflicted about putting it on the list, but then the more I thought about it, the more I hated it.
Fair.
Because now we're getting into the points where basically my top 5 movies, they're there for varying degrees of incompetence and writing contrivances, but largely just due to just being flat out fucking offensive.
Yeah.
And just morally reprehensible in ways where you just can't really do it. And here's the thing. I'm not squeamish when it comes to my fucking horror movies. I have said it repeatedly on this channel, and I will say it forever. The Human Centipede 2 is my favorite dark comedy. I do not have a problem with fucked up concepts being used in horror movies. I had this phase where I went through I looked for movies that would shock me just to shock myself. Sallow to me is a boring movie. Like there's so many, I know it sounds like I'm bragging and shit, but I'm really just trying to say that I'm not pissed off about this movie because I was like, oh, I can't take it. Like, no, it's just poorly done. And if you're going to do the shit that a movie does with a bad concept, you need to do it in a way that at least makes sense with that concept and, works. And that movie is Don't Breathe 2.
We're going to talk about that one later too.
Later?
There's one.
I know our top 3 is exactly the same.
Our top 3 is exactly the same. I still got one spot above yours.
So this one's number 4 for you?
It is number 4. Well, it's tied for number 4.
Oh, okay. So your next 2 are tied for number 4?
I got my number 5. And then number 4 is Don't Breathe 2 and tied with something else.
So this is your top 11?
No, I have a cheat every now and again. I'll put if I can't choose between 2, I'll put them together just because I'm lazy.
All right. Well, I didn't exactly have more bad movies to put on this, so I'm not upset. But all right. Well, why don't we just talk about it when we get to yours?
All right. Fair enough.
I'm at the point where I don't want to talk about these things twice.
Fair. All right. My number 5 is Space Jam 2.
Oh, yeah. That would probably be on here if I'd watched it, but I couldn't subject myself to it.
It's a good thing you didn't, because it is just as cynical and overly commercial and just stupid and bullshit. And oh, God, it's a horrible experience. Space Jam is one of those cult hits I've never understood. Because every time someone's like, oh, yeah, I love Space Jam, my first question is, when was the last time you watched it? Because I can tell you, it's not good. It's never been good. You only think it's good because you saw it when you were 4. And I was like, oh, cool, it's Bugs Bunny, and like, yay, happy-go-lucky antics. This one is somehow worse.
Well, what I find funny is that in the past couple of years, 2 of my favorite movie skewering productions, YMS on YouTube, Your Movie Sucks, and How Did This Get Made, the podcast with June Diane Raphael and Paul Scheer and Oh, what's his last name? Holy shit, he's my favorite guy out of all of them too. I feel so bad right now. But yeah, the guy, fuck, and he's in so many things that I love. I love him so much. I'm so pissed off right now. But anyway, I'll remember him in a second. I'll look him up while I say this. But yeah, they just watch movies and they talk about them afterwards and how much they fucking hated them and why they don't understand how these things made it to production.
Yep.
And that's the whole point. And they all rewatched, or they all watched for the first time, the original Space Jam. And all of them were like, how did people ever like this? This is aggressively terrible.
Yep.
Jason Mantzoukas. That's what it was. Jason.
Oh, yeah, I love Jason Mantzoukas.
Yep. Yeah. For some reason, I was just thinking the Zoukas part of his last name, and I'm like, I know that's wrong.
I know that's because every time I see him, I think of you a little bit.
I've gotten that more than once, and I don't know how to feel about it. But
it's mostly when you get to the screaming stage of your anger. There's
the manic energy, definitely. I can see that. But for some reason in my head, my brain was doing like Matt Zoukas, and I'm like, no. But it's close, weirdly. But I know his first name doesn't even start with an M, and his last name doesn't start with what the fuck is wrong. But yeah, so that explains that. But yeah, they all watched this, and the just evisceration of it. His opening to that podcast, because they do it in front of a live audience so they can get audience interaction. Yeah. And he's like, you guys were like, it's good. It's just like, you've been begging us to watch this movie. And you've been saying like, oh man, it's so good. And I'm no, it's not. This is terrible.
Yeah.
You guys are all wrong. What is your problem? Oh man. And this was literally based on a commercial. Yep. Like the original was based on a fucking commercial.
Yep.
So it was just made to be product placement all the way through, and it's poorly written. There's no logic to the movie in the first place. And apparently, somehow, from what I've heard, the sequel does away with what little logic the original had and just completely goes out the window with everything.
Oh God, you have no fucking clue. The first off, like, God bless him, he's trying. What the hell is his name? LeBron James. Yeah. LeBron James is like trying to, I don't know, have some kind of fun with this, but he's not a good actor. So every time, especially they have these animated sequences where they're like, all right, LeBron, we need to do like a realistic scream. Can you do a realistic scream? You're falling off a cliff. It's like a cartoon cliff. Can you give us a realistic scream? Sure, I can. Should we do another take? No, we can't tell him he's doing anything wrong. It's fine. Just let him go. Let him have this.
Paying him $30 million. We should be able to tell him he's wrong. Nope, not how this works.
Publisher said no. Yeah. But anyway, like there's actually like some more like 2D animated stuff that's actually not terrible to look at. It was like, okay, well at least this is tolerable. I can watch this and not hate it. And then they turn them all into like 3D, and it looks god awful. It is like some of the worst CGI I've seen all year, which is fucking saying something. And it is just painful to watch. There's a part where like the big game happens. We'll talk about fucking War Machine. I forget his name.
Don Cheadle?
Don Cheadle. It's John Cheadle's role in this movie.
Don Cheadle's in this?
Yeah, he plays the villain. Because his name is something fucking absurd. Look it up while I rant, because you're not going to believe it when you see it. It was like Algae Rhythm or something like that. That's what it was. Because the whole plot of this fucking dumb shit movie is that Algae Rhythm wants to pull LeBron James into Warner Brothers because he thinks they'll really up their brand. So he just wants to insert him into everything. But LeBron says no.
So hold up. So this is 2 Warner Brothers movies this year that have actively put Warner Brothers by name in the movie as an active villain and a cynical fucking overlord company.
Yeah.
Interesting pattern that they're down with. Okay.
I guess they're saying like, as long as it makes money, we don't give a shit. But anyway.
I guess once they let the Snyder Cut go, they just really embrace their dark side.
I guess like we ever get another 4-hour fucking Batman movie according to test screens. But Algae Rhythm gets really upset by this because apparently this is there's no way he's gonna say no to this idea, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. So he tricks his son, who doesn't want to play basketball, but it feels like he has to. He wants to go to video game camp, He tricks him into like saying like, "Hey, I can tell you to tell your dad to fuck off," and he kind of drags him into the computer verse or the Warner Brothers universe kind of thing. It was basically I'd wait just to shove as many IPs as they could in there in baffling ways, to the point where there's actually a few shots where you just look in the background and the game from the Clockwork Orange is just chilling there. And it's really jarring. And I'm kind of like,
you mean the rapist gang?
Exactly. Yes. So I'm like, did you
guys, pop culture icons for kids.
You guys not ask anyone their opinion before you did this?
From a movie that literally almost got banned in countries when it came out.
There's just literal several shots of just Pennywise just leering over like child icons, like not even like in the forefront, like in the background. You have to look for this shit.
I'm kind of tempted just to find screenshots to see like
you probably could.
Someone's made a YouTube video going through all of these. They have to.
There's a lot of weird shit like that in the film. And so and then LeBron finds out, he goes to the computer verse. That's who runs into like Bugs Bunny and all that shit. But he wants to recruit the best, except he recruits like just his friend, like Bugs Bunny just recruits his friends who are all like really mashed into like films that became irrelevant 10 years ago. Like Elmer Fudd is Dr. Evil. No, he's Mini Me for some reason.
Okay. All right.
They have Granny doing like the fucking Trinity kick from the first Matrix.
Wow, that's interesting.
And so it's all these kids like, oh my, like really? We're making Austin Powers jokes in 2021. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure kids will get that reference. It's weird that you're putting Mad Max, the R-rated adult film, in there too. Wile E. Coyote.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of weird shit like that. And
I didn't know who directed this, and I just looked up a couple of the other things he's directed. You remember that Night School movie with Tiffany Haddish and Kevin Hart?
Oh yeah.
We kept seeing the trailers for a few years ago, and we were like irritated every time.
Yeah, I remember it.
And Scary Movie 5.
Oh no. The second one makes way more sense.
Yeah. Oof. Big oof, buddy.
Where was I going with this?
It's a bad movie, and you should feel bad for liking it.
There's something like particularly obnoxious about it. Oh yeah, like the only like the slightly redeeming quality I will give it is someone put up a tweet and pointed this out of saying like, you know, say it was with Space Jam 2, but there is a scene in the movie where LeBron James is like on a board trying to pick players, and he says like, "Ooh, we can get Superman and the Iron Giant. They should be teams. They should team up together." And it's like, and that tells you at some point somebody who was writing this saw the Iron Giant, which is more than you can say about Ready Player One.
Oh, oof. So I just popped onto Letterboxd to look some stuff up about this, and one of the reviewers that I follow said this is one of the saddest movies I've ever seen. It's the cinematic equivalent of sitting at a bar and listening to someone talk for 2 hours about how they lettered in varsity football and how they were crowned homecoming king. Only the guy is 98 years old and their name is Warner Brothers.
And that's really what it feels like too. It really just feels like smushing as many IPs as they can together in a way that doesn't matter. Like it makes sense. Obviously, the like Space Jam movie's never gonna make fucking sense. It's more just it's not interesting to watch. It's not funny. It's just painful to look at. And it's painful to hear. It's painful to all the senses. And you just hate yourself a little more by sitting through it and knowing you could be using that time to do so many other productive things, but you're not. What do the Letterboxd reviews say?
Space Jam: A New Legacy, which doubles as Don Cheadle humiliation porn, is a special kind of late-stage capitalist hell. Comparing it to Chicken McNuggets is unfair to the humble McNugget, a passable food substitute if absolutely nothing else is available.
Oh, damn. Brutal.
Oh, my God. Warner Brothers' latest folly has more in common with those disgustingly cheap TV dinners fed to children by parents who hate them. You know the type, dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets that are mainly gristle, lunchroom quality corn, and tiny processed fries. The only edible part is the brownie for desserts.
God damn.
Woof. Space Jam: A New Legacy did not earn its brownie. Oh man, that's rough, buddy.
So, yeah, Space Jam 2, fucking awful movie. All
Oh,
right.
hey, this one straight up says, like Ready Player One, this movie is just an ugly, bloated corpse being fucked to a second, far less pleasant death. Oh my
Damn
god!
it, these reviews are so much more clever than I am.
Yeah, no, I follow some pretty shining stars on Letterboxd. It's pretty good.
What's the kind of writing that makes me mad? Because like, god damn it, I wish I had that talent.
Hey, just follow the people I do, read what they do, and like you might like absorb some of it through osmosis. The key to being a good writer is reading good writing.
That is true.
Canceling my subscription to cinema. Goodbye, everyone. Oh man.
All right. So number 4, let's talk about Don't Breathe 2. Or do you want to go over your number 4 first, and then we get into mine?
I mean, no, let's just do Don't Breathe 2, since you have 2 number 4s. Might as well.
I'm willing to bet they're the same ones, because Don't Breathe, I tied.
I'm sure. So we could just take the rest here together. So
Don't Breathe 2 and Cruella. Yeah.
Yes, Cruella is my number 4.
I had a feeling. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So
and we know we're on the
same
page for the rest of them. We've talked about it in the reviews. So
yep.
let's start the fucking y'all thought it was bad up to this point. Oh boy. Bottom
of the barrel. Let's
let's do that. Crack the elbows. Don't Breathe 2 is a movie where a bunch of people thought it was cool and fun and okay because it's no big deal that we just take the fucking serial rapist kidnapper from the first movie and make him the hero. And when you think that it might be coming around to them possibly having some kind of comeuppance near the end of the movie, it comes to fruition in something that is a monologue in the same way that the Tears in the Rain lines from Blade Runner are a speech. It's like 4 lines. They are generally meaningless.
It's not even 4 lines. Like, it's one reference to like something he did like exactly one time.
Yeah. No, he says like, I'm a monster. I have killed. I have raped. I don't deserve any of this. And
literally the only reference.
Oh God, what was it? He's been mortally wounded near the end. Yeah, and the girl comes up and is like, and he's like, no, it's too late for me. And she says, no, let me save you. And he says, you already have, and then dies.
That's yep.
Oh my God.
I don't know whose idea this movie was. I don't know what anyone thought was a good idea. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know how it's conceptualized. Like, maybe you can make this work if you actually like made what happened in the last movie fucking matter. But you don't, and you just want to make this like an older Daredevil kind of thing. We're like, oh, look how badass he is, and all.
Yeah, this could have been cool. I don't know why they had to reuse the same guy, because it could have been a cool movie on its own, but they had to use that same dude. You could have just had some dude with a checkered past, and like there's also, as you mentioned, the general twist in the middle where like this girl's original family is essentially plotting to kidnap her just so they can like transplant her heart into her mother's, even though into her mother's chest, because her mother is dying from all the fucking drugs she's done and shit. And never mind the fact that it's a little small.
I think I was texting you while I was watching this because I saw this by myself, and I remember being so fucking pissed off. And especially when I got to that part. I can't remember what I said, but I was like, "This is the dumbest fucking movie. What the fuck did they do to my baby?" Because I loved the first one.
The first one's great.
Like the first one is like brilliant, amazing sound design, amazing set pieces. Yeah, like a great use of the concept and a great like evil like bastard. You just want to see get their comeuppance. And then someone took like, hey, you know this person who did this thing that everyone agrees is horrible? Let's make him the hero. Let's do that. Let's all segue everything that was interesting about the last movie. Like the clever sound design and the kind of like almost like Marco Polo cat and mouse chase of the first one. Let's get rid of all of that, replace it with dumb fuck characters, dumb fuck heroes, like horrible moralization. And just a general plotline makes absolutely no goddamn sense to an infuriating degree. And I'm going to let a lot of story stuff go because I'm definitely of the opinion that like nitpicking the story is not good criticism. But god damn it, this.
No, sorry, I'm looking for the text, and I found the I found this thing where, because I was trying to make time for it, and finish what you were saying first, because I found the text.
Okay. Well, I think I was pretty much done.
Okay.
But it's like, yeah, the whole thing of the transplant heart is like, you could have had a good moral dilemma there. Like, does he have the right to like take their daughter away, even if like they're not good for them? But then they turn this cartoonish evil villain of "we want your heart, Karima."
Yeah, and it really is this thing where it's like, oh man, it was so. There's like, it was clearly engineered to be horrifying and sad, and I would be kidding if I said that it didn't affect me the way it was supposed to a couple times, but that was mainly because I thought that it was going to be better for the rest of it, and it was not.
It was worse. So much worse.
So yeah, it was this. God, it does have an excellent eye gouge though. It has one of the better eye gouges I've seen in movies.
If I have to give it anything,
we'll give it that. But yeah, no, that was
those texts. That was like months ago.
Oh yeah, I can search my texts.
Nice.
It's one of the things you can do with the Mac, which you have.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I like, here I go. I just straight up say, why did it have to be a sequel? That's the first thing I say to you getting out of the movie. It's like, clearly they just wanted to do something else with the concept of a blind killing machine. I decided to experiment by deliberately approaching it as a standalone movie, completely unassociated with the original, and it almost kind of worked. It's technically really well executed as far as the direction and the suspense. And that is true. That initial house invasion sequence they have is excellent. It is a really, really good like use of those mechanics. Yeah. That whole sequence was great, but the rest of the movie is just fucking shit.
Yep.
It's really unfortunate. And what messes with me is that it kind of retroactively makes the first one worse.
Yeah.
Because it is the same people writing it. Like, this is actually where they wanted to take the story. This is not some other people taking the idea and not understanding it and fucking it up. These are people who had the idea turning out to actually being shittier about it than we thought, and not actually taking it seriously. Just being like, ooh, look, a rapist. Isn't that scary? Like, yeah, it's funny.
And now they just like, they just kind of retroactively go like, well, yeah, he's a rapist, but he's still a good guy, which is like, are two phrases that should never go together. Like, I think
he's got his redemption arc, you know, and we're only going to show it through this final sequence.
We're also going to have the redemption arc while also not acknowledging what he needs to redeem himself from in any meaningful way. We are going to pretend it doesn't exist because we know going into this that it's impossible to humanize him and maybe root for him if we acknowledge it.
We're going to acknowledge it in passing at the very end in a very dismissive way.
Yep.
And we're going to
talk about the ramifications. We're not going to talk about the guilt.
Yeah. We're going to pardon him ethically from the perspective of a 12-year-old girl who just does not understand what he's talking about.
Yep. And
I don't even know if she knows what the word rape means. You know, she's that young. So who knows? Anyway, speaking of not taking responsibility for your actions and acting like it's actually a redeemable thing, and like you're totally fine and you're great because you have the right motivations against the right people, even if they're normally evil. But, you know, if you point it in the right direction, it's fine, regardless of like how shitty of a person you've been in the past. Like, you don't have to actually say sorry. You just have to point it in the right direction. Number 4.
Cruella.
Cruella.
Keep talking. I need to change shirts because I've got anger sweat going on here.
I'm going to have to grab a drink of water in a second too.
You just want to pause for a second?
Yeah, let's come back in a moment.
All right, we'll be right back. Here's a commercial. And we're back. Let's get our annual Disney shit on with their latest awful live action remake. That's completely pointless.
Or
it makes everything worse.
Not remake. Prequel origin story of a villain kind of deal.
Whatever the hell they're doing with it.
Mm-hmm. So don't show this to your kids.
No.
Again, this is not a badly made movie.
It's not. And it's not even badly acted, I would argue.
Mm-mm. No,
But
Emma Stone is great in this. Um,
she's clearly having a great time doing it. It just the writing and the story and everything around it is just different. Like just teeters between just teaching horrible lessons about gaslighting and manipulative people, and the other hand, doing stuff that's so absolutely terribly batshit that you can't believe you're fucking watching it.
so it has some fun set pieces. It has some absurd shit. It has a dog yeeting a woman off of a cliff, which
That
is
was
hilarious.
what I was thinking of. Yep.
Hilarious, because in the original script they were going to just have them maul her to death, and they're like, we can't do this in a Disney movie, and they're like, all right, let's just have the dog push her off the cliff. That's fine. Which, if that was what was going to happen, why didn't she just do it? Why did she have to summon her dogs? Why couldn't she just been like, you're standing on a cliffside?
Her motivation is I hate Pomeranians because they killed my parents.
Yeah, right. But that's the thing. On top of that, she doesn't really hate dogs. There's no real thing that connects this to the other movies.
No.
And one of the things people were like, well, it's just fun. But no, there are actually people. It has been long enough. It's been 20 years since the last 101 Dalmatians thing. The Glenn Close movies were in the 90s.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So you have a whole generation of people, kids even, who now all they know Cruella as is this badass lady who takes on this fucking like shitty like fashion baroness kind of person. And they don't they don't even have it in their heads that she is someone that would be cruel to animals or callous about dogs, because she loves dogs in the movie. She's fine with dogs. She's nice to them. And this movie is, at the same time as it's like actively dark and harmful, there are moments in the movie that get pretty dark, and I really wish they would have leaned more into that. But
like, if you're
the thing that's the worst about it,
villain, yeah.
Huh?
If you're gonna make a movie about a villain, make her the fucking villain, right?
Yeah.
Like, at the very least, excuse the other shit. But you try to have your cake and eat it too. Where it's like, oh, we're gonna have like do like some of the shady shit the character does, but also like we wanted her to be likable because she is the protagonist.
Yeah.
And in doing so, creates this really toxic like mindscape.
It's this thing where you can have someone in your movie who is mentally ill.
Sure.
That's not a problem. Mentally ill people need better representation. You can have somebody in your movie that has a bad manifestation of that mental illness and isn't very good to the people around them. That's fine. But if your way of having them address that and come back around is to completely forgive them of what they've done without having them actually like confront what they've done, if the way that they approach it is like literally the two people in your life who have ever stood by you and have done that for years, you act like a piece of shit to them, you take them for granted, you push them away, and then when you need them again, you chase them down and you're like, hey, look, hey, you don't even say you're sorry. You just say, I found this thing out. And they're like, whoa, shit. And then when you're sitting down with them, you eventually say you're sorry. But the first thing you follow that up with is, you guys are the only family I have. Which again centers it back around to feeling like that's the reason that she apologized, not because she actually was better or remorseful or, cared about their feelings. She apologized because she didn't want to lose them because she didn't have anything else, which would imply that if she was more popular and had more friends or family, she would have just let what she did sit and it was fine and let it go. And this is just an incredibly irresponsible and damaging thing to put in a fucking Disney product.
Yeah.
Like millions of kids are going to see this. It's ridiculous. How could you fucking do this? I don't understand the idea of putting something like this on film and not actively addressing the fact that there are bad ways to approach this and there are good ways to approach this, and actively showcasing the bad ways of dealing with it as, the right way. And aside from that, just some really fucking stupid hokey shit. One of my least favorite ones being this goddamn stupid piece of shit visual.
Oh yeah.
I like when
that.
she did that, I cringed so hard. And it's crazy to think that with all of the stuff that she pulls in this movie, nobody recognizes her at all. And it's really disappointing that this director ended up coming for this, because this dude directed Lars and the Real Girl and I, Tanya. But to be fair, he also directed, Mr. Woodcock. So who knows?
I just remember just feeling miserable the entire time watching this fucking movie. And by the time I got to the most ridiculous part for me, which is when they also did this whole like frame job where they framed the villain of the movie by having Dalmatians also yeet her off a cliff. But it turns out she's fine though, because her entire clothes is made to be a parachute, and she just
she literally built
magicians a parachute out of her clothing and floats gently to a boat nearby.
Go Gadget Cruella, and yeah, it's already been greenlit for a sequel. It's just, don't get me wrong, Emma Stone is amazing in the role. She plays it well. She's really hot. The wardrobe work in the movie is fantastic.
Can't argue with that.
The soundtrack is a little too on the nose constantly. Yeah, it's borderline Suicide Squad levels of they're doing this thing, so I'm going to. They literally for one section play fucking Iggy and the Stooges. I Want to Be Your Dog.
I forgot about that.
The first time I saw that in a movie was fucking Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, dude. What a fucking ocean of difference between movies.
No shit. Oh my god.
Yeah, so this movie it's undeniably fun, but it does that thing where it plays with fire, and in the end tells kids that why not fuck your parents, eat the Tide Pods. Really, it takes a really irresponsible stance with something that should not be addressed that way.
And it's again, like what you were saying, you can have these topics be in these movies, you can talk about these things, but you have to actually know what you're talking about. And when you don't do that and you just kind of throw it on willy-nilly, then you just end up being incredibly irresponsible and teaching the wrong lessons. And later on, this my issue with this, and oddly enough, we'll talk about this when we get to the best of list. Issue with anytime is you have to forgive them because they're family. It's no, you fucking don't.
You don't. You really don't.
No, you don't. Blood doesn't make family. Fuck them.
Go to our review of The Father to see some stuff about that.
We will also talk about The Father.
But yeah, this movie just it's I don't know
problem,
that
not part of the solution, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, if you watch this movie and you think it's fine, chances are you haven't actually had to deal with being damaged by these people, and both you and I have.
Yeah.
And as people who have been abused by people exactly like what this movie is justifying and saying is okay, is really fucking terrible. It was this point. You remember we watched this together.
Yep.
I'd been drinking.
Yep.
We paused it when it got to that point because it was so fucking upsetting, and I was yelling.
Yeah.
I was fucking literally yelling in disbelief. Are they really fucking doing what I think they're doing? Mm-hmm. This is not just me going oh, I don't like it because it's not morally perfect. No, this was fucking upsetting.
Yep.
To look at something on screen that was going to be shown to millions of children, that was basically a message to a bunch of people that have fucked me up over the course of my life, saying, hey, it's fine because if you think the other person is bad, it's fine to be an absolute garbage person towards them, and there's no need to actually become better or address your mental illness in any way.
Yep.
Embrace the darkness in you. It's just part of you. It's the way you are.
Yep.
It's okay if you point it at the right people. Just don't hurt the people around you. Not because it's a bad thing to do, but because they'll leave you and you don't want to be alone, do you?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah,
Fuck this movie. No.
Well, save you the anger because the next three I know for a fact are exactly the same for both of us.
Oh, it's just going to get even worse. It's going to
Yep.
get even worse. This is going to be rough. Number
To
three.
to preface this before we get into number three, because I feel like this is an important note to make before we get into this. We saw the number one on our list. We both said to each other, "There's no way anything's gonna be worse than this. There's no way anything's gonna come even close." And nothing topped it. But we were shocked to find more than one that got shockingly close, closer than we ever thought it would, for equally morally reprehensible reasons.
I can't remember the last movie that I saw. Like, I'd probably have to jump through a couple of our worst of lists, but I can't remember the last time I saw a movie that pissed me off as much as these top three, except for maybe like Infinity War for different reasons, but that can be debated for its own things. But like these top three are unquestionable.
Yep.
Well, and I'm shocked that we got the number one ever. And we thought that it would be years before we saw anything else come even close. And somehow these top three all hit that fucking mark. Yep. So without further ado, number three worst movie of the year.
Licorice Pizza.
Licorice Pizza. And here's the thing. I know we're going to get a lot of fucking people who are going to be like, well, there were clearly worse movies made. Are you going to say that, like, you know, Profile was not as bad as Licorice Pizza? Does that mean Profile is better than Licorice Pizza? No. Profile was a worse movie in the sense that it was incompetently made. But in terms of just being flat out misguided, in terms of being upsetting to watch, in terms of being uncomfortable and just inexcusable, and bizarrely excused by a lot of people. This deserves to sit this high.
And here's the thing about this, because this is like easily the most contested review we released this year.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because it's currently sitting at 44 comments.
Wow.
Which is like the most comments we've gotten for any review, I think, this year, except maybe number one. But either way, like, and almost every single one of them is people just bending over backwards to defend this fucking movie. All of them use the same three arguments. Now, for those who don't know what we're talking about in terms of Licorice Pizza, the short version is it's a movie about a 15-year-old boy who actively
seducing a fucking 25-year-old.
Actually pursues 25-year-old who starts actively grooming him, and they physically lust after each other, and they eventually like kiss at the end and actually profess their love for each other at the end, and it's portrayed as a happy moment. And God knows, the minute this review went live, I started getting people already bending over backwards to defend this fucking piece of shit. This fucking morally reprehensible piece of shit. And the ones that didn't use just straw man arguments, also ones are like, well, that just happened in the 1970s. Or you're saying we shouldn't have censorship, like you should censor these topics. Like, no, you're trying to actually change a topic or make it something it's not, because you have to actually acknowledge this movie very clearly is okay with this relationship, then your entire argument falls apart. And
it's actually been a while since I checked the review section. I'm surprised by the number of additional things on here. Sorry. Go on.
And it's one of the things, the minute you keep pushing on that fact, it's like, yeah, it's not ambiguous. The language of the movie is saying this is okay. Paul Thomas Anderson went on record and not only said, did he see nothing wrong with this, but he hired an actress that looked just like a woman that he was in love with when he was a teenager, which just confirmed 15 and
he had a teacher.
What I said in the fucking review when I said this feels like male wish fulfillment. That is exactly what it is. And for me, that was the most vindicating part of that. And it's become my official gotcha every time someone tries to throw that shit back at me, which is like, Paul Thomas Anderson said he's okay with this.
Not only did he acknowledge that he was aware of it, he said he was okay with it.
He said he saw nothing wrong with this. He's okay with this. Fuck off.
I love it when Jaden just pops up and is like, "Hey, when are you gonna review this?" He asks when we'll do Sing 2.
Jaden.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Now, to be clear, we also got a fair amount of thank you. God.
No, I know. I'm looking at some of those. That's it's encouraging, but
like,
it's fun to
of, like,
watch
number
people
one,
say like it's not actively endorsing it when it's like they don't understand
is.
how movies work.
Yeah, and it's more like either you're not paying attention to what's actually happening in the movie, or you're being deliberately obtuse. Because it does not take much to actively see what the movie is actively encouraging.
No,
you
absolutely.
Have to be blind not to see it.
It is actively throughout the whole movie making this a romanticized magical concept.
Yep.
It's not viewing it as like this doomed couple. There's a moment near the end in the third act where it starts to approach potentially being that kind of story, and that was encouraging. I was hoping that was what would happen.
Nope,
but
it backpedals.
No, it totally backpedals, goes right and dives deep into it. And the last shot of the movie is literally her holding his hand as he runs ahead and looking up at him dreamily as she runs after him and saying like, "I love you, Gary." And that's cut to credits. Yep. It's like, yay, the final pinnacle. That is absolutely romanticized and glorified. And at the beginning of the movie, it outright says that, you know, she actively says, what you're proposing is illegal. You are 15.
Yep. And the movie
and
never goes beyond that, just critiquing it. Like, occasionally they'll bring up like, do you think it's weird that I hang out with Gary and his 15-year-old friends? Like, no, that's it. That's as far as it goes.
And she's like, yeah, I think it's weird, I guess. But I guess there's another part of it where it's like, you know, he represents a kind of innocence and like wild, like openness to the world and opportunity that she doesn't really have with the stage of life that she's in. And she kind of gets drawn into that, even though she feels like she's more mature. And like, that's the clash that comes up later on. And I'm like, I guess, but that's not really how it's framed.
But let's be honest, though. Like, Gary as a character is just Paul Thomas Anderson inserting himself into the movie.
It really is. It's not just him inserting himself into the movie. It's him inserting this glamorized fucking
white
version of himself. 70s. It is, once again, it feels like Gary is the one who wrote this movie.
Yep.
Like, this is his version of the story that he's inserting into it. And the fucked up thing about it is that when you find out that this is actually based on not only the fact that Paul Thomas Anderson, when he was 15, had a crush on a 25-year-old teacher at his school who sang songs and shit, who looks exactly like Alana Haim, and he directs a bunch of music videos for that girl's band with her two sisters, Haim, the Haim sisters. So he's directing music videos with her, and she's singing and stuff, and she just reminds him of this woman he had a crush on when, you know, that woman was half his age right now, and he was 15. And he just wants to make this movie about this romance where it's just wish fulfillment, and it works out, and she just can't resist his, you know, precocious 15-year-old charm. He just and throughout the whole movie, he wins at everything.
Yep.
He's just given credit and shown to succeed at pretty much everything he tries to do. He's proven to be right at every turn. He goes like, he realizes that he needs to make more money, so he basically goes and starts flipping mattresses or start flipping water beds. Yep. And then he builds his own fucking store.
Yep.
He rents out a storefront. He gets a license to run a store. He gets a tax ID, I guess. Like, he is running a business.
Multiple businesses.
And he is shipping water beds through the mail, which means if you're shipping across state lines for a business and you're being officially, like, there's so many logistics that go into becoming a distributor for a product. And I don't know if people will just be like, well, it was the 70s, man. Like, whatever, dude. I'm pretty sure you still needed a business license in the 70s. And it wasn't lax enough that some 15-year-old kid could just do it. And you could say, well, maybe his mom did it for him. Maybe. Who fucking knows? They sure didn't show it. They just didn't give anyone else credit for it. It was just him being the super slick kid who was just women, like girls falling all over him everywhere he went. But he didn't want girls his own age. Again, he just wanted this full-grown woman. And when these opens the store, since it's a waterbed theme, she's going to be the main attraction. So Alana Haim walks out in a fucking bikini and heels.
Yep.
And it literally does the fucking leering thing where he's like, wow, you look amazing. And he literally walks around her a couple times going like, whoa.
And she's like,
and she's
oh,
standing
you
there like,
like
hey,
it?
really? I
Oh
look
my
so, you
God.
think I look good? Oh. And like, and that's the point where he starts
Awesome.
hitting on like, he starts hitting on a girl his own age and she gets jealous.
Yeah. And she's like, the point where she's like trying to like peer where they're making out or having sex or whatever it is.
It's disgusting.
Gross.
And
it's absolutely revolting. And like, let's talk about the part we actually forgot to mention in the review, because now's a good time to bring it back up. Which is
the racism.
The racism, yeah. On top of
no, we mentioned it.
No, because I remember we talked. You texted me the next day after you recorded the review, and you said we forgot to mention the racism.
Holy shit, we did?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I was sure we talked about it because it's so egregious. Yeah, no, the racism is fucking awful.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe it stands out for me more at this point because I got engaged in like a week-long argument on Letterboxd, with a bunch of fucking film bros who were essentially, oh, this poor fucking Asian dude on Letterboxd wrote out his review talking about like, hey, this is why Orientalism is shitty in movies. And granted, he goes hard on a lot of movies for it. I don't think that what he says is invalid, but I think he goes a little too hard on things. Like he gave The Matrix 1 star for being Orientalist, which he has a little bit of a point, but you know, but I wouldn't go that hard on it for it. I don't think it's as like blatantly racist about it as some things are. This flat out is blatantly racist, and this dude just writes a whole fucking like few paragraphs on why it's harmful. And of course, the comment section is just full of people going like, clearly you speak for all Asians, and like clearly like anyone with a brain wouldn't get offended by this. Clearly anyone would see that it's the white guy who's the butt of the joke. No, but then you have like, oh man, hang on. Let me find one thing of this because I think it really summarizes it in a way that we really can't. And it's pretty short, but it's just like, no, my friends, and then nope, my review. It really can't be overstated how people are just fucking dismissive of things that hurt other people.
Yep.
And whenever it hurts other people, they just label those people as being too sensitive or something. But this is a review from someone who gave it 4 stars. Okay. So they didn't have a problem with the pedophilia. Okay, fine, whatever. But picture this. You're watching Licorice Pizza. It's brilliant. And keep in mind, this person's his last name is Chen. So, okay. So picture this. You're watching Licorice Pizza. It's brilliant. Then early on, a buffoonish character drops an Asian caricature. The mostly white audience around you laughs. And now you got to think about that laughter the rest of the film. Sure, the character is clearly depicted as a fool, but did that idea fully register with the audience? Were they laughing because he's so clearly stupid? Or was maybe a tiny part of their laughter because, hey, now that you mention it, Asians do look and sound weird? Whatever the case, you're definitely now wondering about that instead of focusing on the rest of the film's excellent qualities. Anyway, did you picture it? Because it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And I really don't give a fuck about what anyone's justification is or how they might rationalize it. I don't give a fuck how many of Paul Thomas Anderson's personal people that he knows in his life actively seem to do that to his stepmom and not even realize they're doing it. I guess it's just the way people are. That's a problem, Paul. That's a problem. Maybe someone should mention it to your shitbag racist fucking friends. It's like, and for him to just say like, I don't see the problem with that. Like in the interview in the New York Times that someone did with him, the interviewer actively says that the woman sitting next to him in the theater when he was watching it gasped out loud.
Yeah.
You were sitting next to me.
Yep.
I literally went, oh God.
I think we both kind of reacted that
out loud. We both reacted and were like physically uncomfortable.
It was so...
It wasn't funny. Oh. It wasn't funny. It's fucking horrible. But apparently a lot of fucking white people...
And the thing is about it, it's like you actually watch in the context of the film, it's like, it's not making any kind of commentary. It's not using it to say anything of meaning. It's just racism. It is
Yeah.
racism for its own sake. And people say like, well, that just happened in the 70s. Like, well, yeah, just because you did the thing that happened during that time doesn't make it okay.
Yeah.
Because you're not
like people
with
saying
any kind of critique or critical eye.
Yeah.
You're just
It's
doing it.
it's like the people saying that
justification for it. Fuck
it's
off.
very different from like, Quentin Tarantino putting racism into his movie about slave times, because that kind of shit is unavoidable on a certain level. Yes, it was excessive, and yes, some people have a right to be upset about that, but there can be some kind of argument made in defense of it, which I think kind of falls apart in the larger picture of Quentin Tarantino. But that's another conversation. At least it has some kind of point in the story and the narrative and the characters. This movie didn't need to have that guy. That guy didn't need to be like that. There's nothing that's added to the movie by that. And it's stunning because it does it a second time.
Yep.
And then the joke of it is this guy just later saying like, yeah, these Asian ladies keep leaving me. I don't understand why. And that's the joke. Paul Thomas Anderson thought that was funny enough to put that into the movie in, a way that's genuinely fucking hurtful.
Yep.
And it's just not okay.
He doesn't care.
Never mind all the Jewish jokes that are thrown at Alana Haim. So,
yeah, licorice pizza. I will never understand the massive army of people who will just bend over backwards to just suck Paul Thomas Anderson's dick on this.
I mean, there's a lot of good PTA movies. I'm actually a fan of a lot of his work, but this movie in particular, it's insipid trash. It's not magical. It's not fun. Like, I would much rather watch Punch Drunk Love again. I would much rather watch Inherent Vice again. I would much rather watch There Will Be Blood. Yeah. Like, just, I don't get it. And I don't get how so many people can watch this and be like, oh man, it's so cool how this full-grown woman is being seduced by this 15-year-old. He's such a charming guy. No, this is self-aggrandizing wish fulfillment bullshit in a way that's really creepy and gross when you know the larger context, especially. Yep. So
I remember getting into an argument with some friends online about this movie before we even saw it. And I was kind of talking about like, yeah, but I think you'd like you could take one of my friends. I love him to death, but sometimes I feel like he does kind of play the devil's advocate route, or at least has more faith in people than I do. At this point, because he was saying like, well, yeah, but you think like we've evolved as a society large enough to like know that that's not okay. And then after watching this and getting the defense from it, I was like, I'm not convinced that's true. Because clearly, based on how many white men I got in my comment section defending this movie, I was like, clearly there is a non-zero amount of people who not only like is willing to forgive this shit, but wish it happened to them. Yeah. And to me, like, that's fucking gross.
No, this movie is actively glorifying that shit.
And it's like, no, nothing should actually glorifying that. And like, and it's one thing if you're in that age and you grow out of it and you recognize like as an adult that was wrong. But it's like, if you still feel that way now, you have no fucking excuse.
There was one guy so this comment section I just pulled up again on this one guy's review. It's 134 comments long.
Jesus Christ.
And they're not threaded. It's just one of those old school one long comment section. And there's literally one point where this dude is like, it's satire. And I just responded, do you know what satire is? Like, that's not satire. That's just racism popped on screen. And like,
satire is in a catch-all where you get to this.
Some dude popped up with his anthropology degree and said like, I have studied the Japanese and you clearly don't speak for all Japanese people. And it's like, okay. Oh yeah, and of course used the whole thing of like, oh yeah, there were a whole bunch of Japanese people sitting a couple rows in front of me and they thought it was hilarious.
Because my anecdotal evidence disproves everything you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, fuck this movie.
You Asian person are just being sensitive about the Asian racism in the movie because other Asian people that I was around thought it was funny, which makes it okay. Anyway, I think we've said enough. Do you?
Yeah. Let's move on to the other morally reprehensible piece of garbage. That's not even the number one morally reprehensible piece of garbage.
Number 2. Ready?
Dear Evan Hansen.
Dear Evan Hansen.
Dear Evan Hansen.
Dear Evan. Dear Evan Hansen.
A funny thing about this, that same friend I was talking about a minute ago, he actually likes to play. And because I was like, oh,
Mr.
how's the movie? And it's like, oh, it's awful. And here is the many reasons why. It's like, well, that's not like the show or anything like that. So I guess he Googled it and messaged me back and goes, no, you're right. This is trash.
Mr. Evanderson.
Uh,
Mr. Henderson.
so let's start off with the 32-year-old playing a high schooler.
Where do we even? There is. First off, I highly recommend the video "A Needlessly Thorough Roast of Dear Evan Hansen" by Jenny Nicholson. It is delightful, and it does a deep dive into a lot of the things that we're about to talk about, and it's entertaining all the way through. It is a nightmare of a movie. It is a surreal mess. And I don't think that we should dive into the things that it changed from the original play, because then it's just too deep. It's too deep. Fine.
It's
but
in the context of the film, there's just a part where you think this can't be where it's going. And then it starts, and it's like, oh shit. This is exactly what they're doing.
And it goes worse. It gets worse and worse. But it's funny because as we were watching it, we were like screaming, like just shouting and screaming in laughter. We were at least able to laugh at this movie.
There was a few, like, there's still like, I still think of words.
Words fail. My favorite description of it is, as Jenny Nicholson said, it's like his face is trying to escape his head. Like, this dude, Ben Platt, Ben Platt sings like he is taking the roughest shit of his life. Like, it's just veins bulging out of his forehead, and it's horrifying to see sometimes. But it's also the fact that, like, he's starring alongside people who actually seem young enough to be cast as high schoolers. So they're somewhat convincing. They're like maybe 24 or so, but he doesn't look 24. He looks like a fucking serial killer pretending to be a child who's managed to sneak into school. And they've done this like makeup to him that makes him look weirdly doughy and puffy. So he's not an ugly person normally, but they've done something to him to make him look less old. And he's only like 28 when this movie was made. So he's only like 4 years older than them. But because of the weird way that it works out, the makeup makes him look older than he is. So he looks like a 32-year-old in disguise. Yeah. And he's in a movie with people who look like they're maybe 18. So it's just magnified. And there's this subplot where he is, and I cannot exaggerate this, in a romantic relationship with in a developing romantic relationship with the younger sister of the guy who committed suicide, that he's pretending to have been best friends with, and making up stories about the life of, to make his family feel better, on top of getting fake accolades from everybody else in town.
Yep.
These fake stories have made her feel better, which have made her endeared to him, which have given him the beginnings of a romantic relationship with this girl based on lying to her about her relationship with her dead brother, her brother who died by suicide. And he's manipulated the situation into a romantic one.
Yep.
And they're having these dreamy songs about how beautiful this moment is.
And it's a 32-year-old looking dude.
He's so much bigger than she is, dude. Like, he is like so much taller and larger.
And it's romantically framed. It's just the most uncomfortable.
It's so horrifying.
Oddly enough, if you just switch the genders on Licorice Pizza, that's what this would look like.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. And you know what? Maybe they have a point here, because even in this scenario, there were a bunch of people who were like, yeah, this is fine. So,
of course they were.
Ooh. Oh my God. Hang on. Oh boy. Hang on. I just got to find.
You feeling it rising?
I just got to find like an image of it. I got to find an image. of the two of them standing next to each other. There are people that love this movie, dude. It's fucked up because they don't understand how emotions work. Oh God.
And while you're looking for that,
Hang on, can we just okay? This is not the scene I wanted, but it kind of encapsulates like how weird this looks. That looks like a full-grown, like 35-year-old man next to a fucking 16-year-old. Like that is a romantic couple in this movie.
You know what's even funnier about that is the fact that she's not looking at him, so he's looking at her. So what makes it kind of funny is like if you put like horror movie font, you can totally frame that as a stalker movie. Just
Yeah, right. Just like, look, it really feels like,
God,
dude, that could really be like a deadbeat dad taking his fucking like estranged daughter to dinner at fucking Olive Garden. Like
just play like the fucking like Evil Dead, like the some like the horror music in the background. He's calling me like
God.
merry-go-round.
Yeah, it's really
fucking awful. And
it's
more the
really
fact
really
that, like,
bad.
you have his character doing these morally reprehensible things that like and at the end, not only is it framed like it's a good thing what he's doing because of all the good that comes from it, he also gets almost no consequences for it when he's eventually found out. Like, yeah, he loses the girl and like his surrogate family, who I guess he just ditches his mom for, get like reject him after that. But they still get like an orchard out of it that wasn't there before, and he seems pretty happy with himself. So it's like, what was actually gained here? What they're kind of saying is like, you know, he lost some shit, but he'll be fine. It's totally cool, you guys.
Like, the interesting thing about this movie is that every single thing about it is bad.
Yep.
And there are people who insist that it's like heartwarming and stuff, but they seem to be willing to gloss over the fact that this is about a dude exploiting someone's suicide for his own personal gain. And while at first there may be an excuse for like, oh, you know, he just got caught up in the moment, it's a big thing that happened, like he couldn't control it, he got swept up. There's a point where that is just not a viable excuse anymore.
No, because he keeps encouraging it.
Yeah, and he keeps leveraging it. He builds on it. He kind of grows greedy with it. But the other things about it that I want to highlight, like aside from the weird choice of how to cast and, you know, make up these people, I guess, it has the most undynamic, unenergetic musical sequences that I've ever seen in a musical.
Oh God.
Yeah. The aside from that one sequence where he is literally imagining himself dancing around with dead guy and making up stories for them to, like, for him to write more fake emails between the two of them so that they can pretend they had a longer friendship. Never mind the fact that the dead kid's mother is like, well, we checked all of his accounts, like we signed on his phone and everything, and we couldn't find any correspondence with you. Like, he must have had another email account that he used to talk to you, right? Can we see some messages from that email? And like, literally, they find the hole in his story and then propose the solution for the hole in his story to him. And he's like, yeah, totally, I could do that. And goes and he does it. So hilarious. But aside from that, he has this whole sequence where he's imagining himself dancing around with the guy and singing a song, and it's super fun and happy. And it's like, yeah, maybe we went to the park that one day and like and like, dude, you are literally dancing around with a dead guy. You're dancing around with a dude who killed himself, and there's an implication that you were actually at least partially responsible for that. So, yikes. And never mind the gay character who makes a bunch of gay jokes, because they had a bunch of gay jokes in the and not gay in the fun as in like, oh, it's a gay dude making jokes. Like, no, homophobic jokes from the play that they gave a pass in the movie by making the character makes them gay. That makes it okay. But you know, him talking to this dude, and of course they still have that thing where he's like, man, that sounds like you, that sounds too close. It sounds like you guys were gay or something. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll tone it down. Like, unnecessary. But that's the only sequence in the movie that has any energy. The rest of the ones are just like people sitting at desks. Or just standing and singing a whole song. Like it's inside their heads and stuff. Or like He's just walking around. Dude, the sequence where he first walks into school,
Yeah.
where he just has this whole huge rousing fucking like sing to the nosebleeds fucking form of a song, and he's literally just walking into a rally.
Yeah.
Like just walking into a school rally, and it hasn't even started yet. He's just like walking and he's just like singing, maybe I'll make friends this year. Like, just dude, chill. But then there's that sequence where he's at the table with the family's dinner, with the family for dinner, and like they're like, so tell us a story. And he's like, yeah, that one time we went to that place, and the mom was like, oh, you mean this place? Yeah, he loved going there. He hasn't been there in years. And he's like, oh yeah, that one place, totally went there with your son. And she's like, oh, that was like his secret place.
Oh,
he must have really liked you to go with you to that place. And it's like, yeah, we had a lot of fun going to that park and just sitting and watching the trees and being in a park, and just the worst liar ever. And
I just remembered, I completely forgot about this, because the part where you left the room, because we saw us at your place, and you left the room and you came back, and I was like, no, you have to rewind, because you're not gonna believe what happened while you were gone.
Okay.
And it's the part where he has the big speech in the auditorium, and he's trying to read charts, and he fucks it up, and he starts saying a fucking song, and someone starts recording it, and it just goes instantly viral in like the first.
Yeah, no, it's so here. Hold on, wait. So just for context, he starts. Hang on, we'll get to this in a second, but let me just finish the thing, the family dinner thing.
Sure.
Because the family dinner thing, he starts singing to them about like having this time at the park with this dude, and he's basically just using, like, Ben Platt uses his hands a lot in this movie. He's just making hand gestures, and like because he can't move the rest of his body. He's not anywhere doing anything. He's just sitting at dinner telling a story. And then there's one part where he just stands up and keeps singing, and the rest of the family kind of interacts with him, but they're just talking normally. So you just have this moment where the mom is looking at him totally engrossed in his story, but the sister and the dad are looking at him with the appropriate look on their faces, as if someone just stood up at their dinner table and started singing a song. Like, they are looking at him like he's fucking crazy. It is hilarious.
Forgot about that.
And I don't know if they realize that they're doing that, but they're just seriously like, it's great. But yeah, so this school scene where like they start like streaming it live, like it's like Facebook Live, Instagram Live, whatever. But they start streaming it live, and somehow they make this a montage of not just him performing it live, but the future of it going viral over the next few days or whatever.
Yep. So
there are YouTube videos and people watching it and reacting to it. Yep. And that's when you see a YouTube video titled,
I don't know if I remember this correctly, but it's something to the extent of, his best friend committed suicide. You won't believe what happens next.
Yes. No, you won't believe. Yeah. No, that's exactly what it is. And it does this whole and as they're singing and everything, they have like these people having these really weird reactions to the video. And one of the best ones is this one girl on her phone just watching him sing about fucking not being alone, and like singing about his dead friend. And the girl reacts by going, oh my God, like, oh, it's amazing, inspirational. This is not the tone of what you're watching, dear. This is none of this makes sense.
But I remember from that, just watching your reaction to watching that scene, because at this point I built it up a little bit, and by the time it's still calm, you're like, oh God. It's like slow sit down on the couch.
Like, oh no. Oh no. But yeah, then and then it has all the videos going, and then it does the whole pan out, zoom out of the images all turning into a montage.
That's right. And you're kind of like, if it turns into a fucking face.
But you said it. You said that.
Oh, was I the one that said that?
Yeah, you were the one where, like, if that turns into a fucking montage of his face, I swear to God.
And it does.
Yep.
Like, oh God damn it.
Yeah. No, it was
predictable piece of shit.
Holy shit. Just that's how saccharine and bullshit sentimental the movie is. It is so bad, and it is hilariously bad. And everything they try to do is so poorly directed and unconvincing. And again, this seems to be another story written by the protagonist. Because it really does feel like this is written by Evan Hansen talking about like, well, but look at all the good that came from how I deceived a family about their son and told them a bunch of fake stories about their son and like replaced their actual memories of this real person that they just went through a serious tragedy with, because I just really liked sitting in their nice home with their nice like stuff and everything. And here's the thing, they keep stressing that his mom is like overworked and she can't afford to send him to college, and like they keep stressing that he's poor, that his family is poor.
Yep.
For a single mother, they have a damned nice house.
I know, right?
It's not a bad house. It's not a poor house. It's not like they're living in a fucking trailer. Like it's actually a really nice looking home. It's clean. It's like it's a good house. But you know, he's not living in a fucking mansion. He's not living in the like this other family's house that looks like it got pulled out of a fucking magazine cover and not touched since. Like seriously, it looks like they don't even live there. It looks like they live elsewhere and then they walk into it to walk around and talk about how nice of a house it is and then leave. Like it looks like an untouched house most of the time. It's insane.
Yeah. I think it gets even funnier going back to what you were saying before about how it feels like it was written by the protagonist. When you recognize how much of a vanity project this whole movie actually is.
Oh yeah. No, Ben Platt is in this movie because this movie only got made because Ben Platt wanted to star in it and his producer daddy paid for it.
Yep. And like the funny part is he is like kind of one of those self-owns you make on the internet. People are like, we're giving him shit for looking too old for the role. And
and he was like,
hey,
well,
if it wasn't for my dad, this movie wouldn't even exist.
Yeah, no, he said if I hadn't started the movie, then my dad would have never paid for it and would have never gotten made in the first place. So you're welcome. And people are like,
that doesn't make you look better. You recognize this makes you look better, right?
I don't think you realize. Well, I don't think that makes you look like you think it does.
We'll talk about that in a different context soon too.
So yeah, that's
dear Evan Hansen.
Woof.
You got in that truck.
I just wanted to make sure that there would never be another truck. Go if you want more of a rant about it, watch our review for it. There are other reviews to see about it. It's extensive. It's a thing.
Yep. All right.
I'm already exhausted. Give me a second. I'm gonna take a drink of water because this next one is one you've all been waiting for.
If you've watched any of this season for any length of time, you probably already know what this is.
It's been brought up repeatedly.
Yep.
We have said this whole year that it would be the worst of the year because there's no way to top it.
It's shocking.
We're still shocked that anything came in close.
Yep.
But this still remains the star crown of one of the worst things either of us has ever seen.
Sia's music. This movie started getting headlines again recently.
What? It's
because Sia decided to go on record and say like, the critical reaction from this movie made me feel really suicidal, and all these things of her just totally putting the passing the buck back on internet culture for shaming her about this fucking movie.
Oh wow!
Which everyone's going like, bitch, you were shaming autistic actors on Twitter. We have receipts.
Wow.
So, fuck Sia. Fuck this movie.
Holy shit. Oh, she had a relapse.
Oh, boo-hoo. Like, that was, like, the best comment was, like, I'm going to be honest. I don't care. Like, she did this to herself. Like, we tried to call her out on this stuff respectively. She dismissed all of us.
This is the kind of shit I hate. Because there's a lot of fucking publications are framing this as, yeah, Sia reveals that music backlash led to a relapse. Sia dealt with suicidal thoughts and drug addiction after the backlash to her movie music. Sia has opened up about going to rehab after receiving huge backlash for casting a neurotypical actor as an autistic person in her controversial movie. No.
Yep.
That is not the problem.
Yep.
That is part of the problem. It's a big part of the problem. But there's a lot more wrong with this movie than the fact that Maddie Ziegler got cast as music. And we go into this in depth.
Yeah, we don't.
What is that review? Like an hour long?
Review.
Yeah, our review for that is what, an hour long?
Give or take. We
yeah, something like that.
We
really did.
Comments. Gotta make sure he's right terminology this time.
Yeah, no, we really did dig into it pretty deeply, but it's not just the way that she casts a non-autistic person into the role. It's the way that the role was written.
Yep.
It's the way that that character is the title character of the movie. However, she is essentially a background. She is a prop in another character's story in the movie. Music is not the main character of the movie. Music is an accessory to Zhu, her sister, her older sister, which, upon deeper research, is very clearly a stand-in for Sia's character. That is her inserting herself into this movie. And Zhu is one of the most unlikable pieces of shit I have ever seen in a movie. She is so casually fucking arrogant and presumptuous and dismissive. She is like, if a boomer made a movie about millennials and wanted to portray them as all the fucking millennial myths, Zhu would be that person. She is presumptuous, she is entitled, she is arrogant, and she takes advantage of people.
Yep.
She doesn't have any real empathy. She is an active piece of shit.
Yep.
And the weird thing is that throughout the movie, she is for some reason never really called out for it.
Nope.
Until it's like way later in the movie. And people just think she's cute and quirky, and all these other people around her put up with her, even though she is actively an asshole to so many of them. And the way that the movie's story arc goes is it's not about music, it's about Zhu. It's about Zhu basically being burdened by taking care of her sister, and music essentially being the weird, like, autistic little sister version of a manic pixie dream girl, showing Zhu how magical the world is. And it gets worse because they didn't really work directly with any autistic people. The history of how this movie is made has been well documented. Sia actively pushed back against the community.
Yep.
The community was trying to tell her to talk to more people, to consult the specialists, to try to like actively do more direct hands-on research with this stuff, instead of speaking to people like, I don't know, Autism Speaks.
Yep.
An organization that sees autism as a disease to be cured. And infamously had a commercial a while ago that basically told parents that autism would tear apart their families and destroy their lives before they even realized it was there, and that they should call Autism Speaks, and I'll tell them how to deal with it. Like, this is the perspective of the organization she went with. And when people tried to tell her that this was a bad idea and that she should actually speak to autistic people about it, she insulted them.
Yep.
She was condescending about it. Yep. She just got really fucking childishly pissed off.
Yep.
And lashed out.
Yep.
Like she acts like she's a victim in all of this, like she had no choice and that she did her best, but she actively not only lashed out against but insulted the community that was begging her to listen. And like there's more, but I'll get to that in a minute. You should say something.
Yeah.
I'm sure you want to because of your history. So
yeah. For those who aren't aware, I was an ABA therapist for 3 years, and watched this movie. It was so, I want to say interesting, but it was jarring because you and I going into this knew it was going to be bad. We
yeah,
knew it was going to be like one of the worst things we've ever seen.
and in the first 5
And
seconds,
we like in the first 5 seconds, it somehow already was just destroyed our already terrible expectations by presenting this. What I'm just gonna call autism blackface because that's what it is. It
well,
is.
it's definitely a caricature. This is actually one of the next things I wanted to talk about because aside from the outside of the dream world portrayals of autism, which are already kind of they didn't have to be the way they were.
No,
She is literally what was it you said? Like she's literally just symptoms. Like there's no actual underlying person to the character.
Yes, that is why I said like this character. Like you know what people with autism actually have a personality. Music here has no personality. There's nothing underneath the most stereotypical, insulting interpretation of what an autistic person looks like.
Yeah,
it is.
And
like I said, it is completely all symptoms and nothing underneath. There's something about what they like, what they don't like, what interests them, what fascinates them, how much love they have to give, how much anger they have to show, and all these things is completely swept under the rug for her. Just kind of just meandering from scene to scene. Meanwhile, teaching ways to deal with this that have actually killed people, which is another horrible thing about this fucking movie. Because they have this like magical black character that shows up who magically knows how to fight.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But the other thing is that outside of that real world portrayal is that in these dance sequences, in these musical sequences, not only are they just cloying and basic and just the most unbelievably like simplistic, just cloyingly positive, like fake, like dream, like life is magic and it's beautiful and like humans are the key and like all this stuff. But it does this thing where the music video segments are so colorful, so jarring, such an assault on the senses. And the way they're edited is so rapid fire at some points, like especially the opening part, it's just like da 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 da. And that's not the music, that's the editing. Each of those is a cut. And if an actual autistic person was watching this, someone who was a little more sensitive to that kind of sensory overload, that would be really upsetting for them. It would be like physically upsetting for them. And on top of that, the dancing, the dance sequences in the dance sections of this movie, the dance moves are based on autistic stimming motions. It's horrifying. It is incredible. Like, I don't know how someone let this happen. I don't know how people really thought that it was a good idea, but I still remember I showed Chris a snippet of it because he couldn't watch the whole thing. He watched our review and was like, yeah, I don't think I could sit through that. I was like, just let me show you like 10 seconds. And I showed him the very beginning and he was like, why are they doing stimming movements? Why are they doing stimming movements as dance? Why is that what they're doing? It's and the whole idea that they have this magical, colorful inner worlds that it's such a like it's such a weird, fantastical fantasy world imagination version of what autistic people need This is not representation.
No.
This is some, God, I don't even have a word for it.
It's like it falsely portrays autism as this otherworldly magical superpower kind of bullshit, which is always the most insulting way that anything like this does that kind of representation. It dehumanizes them.
Yeah.
It takes away their humanity. It's just like, oh, but they're not like us regular people. They have these quirky imaginations and this colorful little worlds that we just can't fathom because they're not like us, and deliberately separates us while making the movie not about them at all.
Yeah.
So it's not even like representation. The fact that it's like it has like a good message to share or show like why you should care more about people that are on the spectrum or people that have like high support needs. Is more just like, here's how this person's condition is all about me. And to just an infuriating degree. And I just, it is so frustrating to see that still in 2021 that we still can't get past portraying autism as some kind of superpower. It's been a problem in Hollywood for God knows how long, and we're still like, there's no nuance to it. There's no attempt to add nuance to it. There's no attempt to show them as, actual just fucking people just trying to live their fucking lives to the best of their ability. And like, I don't understand why it's this hard to get the basic level of humanity into this topic.
I don't, it's not hard.
It's not.
It's not. There were so many points along the way of making this movie that Sia could have listened to anybody that was trying to tell her otherwise. But she was just actively like, she was insulting people. She was insulting autistic actors for telling her that she needs to cast an autistic person. And on top of that, like, Maddie Ziegler, she's just a kid. Clearly, like, there's some grooming adjacent shit going on here.
Yeah.
It's really disturbing, the way that this whole relationship is played out over the course of all of this, especially with how concerned she was when making the movie that she really didn't want autistic people to think she was making fun of them. And Sia assured her that it wouldn't be that way. And now coming out the other end, everybody is saying that it turned out really badly. But Maddie, of course, is not listening to that part and is just defending Sia, and refuses to, accept any of that. And Kate Hudson, on top of all that, I'm really disappointed in Kate Hudson for having the reaction to the backlash that she has. And the thing about Maddie Ziegler's portrayal of autistic people in this movie is, like you said, like, she's all symptoms, but the faces that she makes, the way that she processes events, like, she is supposedly like a 14-year-old in this.
Yeah.
And she has enough autonomy to be allowed to go on her own to the library.
Yeah.
And the neighborhood knows her. And it's this weird thing where, like, nobody fucks with her. Everyone knows who she is. And they're all just a lovely, happy, friendly neighborhood that's gonna, just treat her right and like be nice to her and like do on the end, the vendor stand, like, gives her a snack and she's like, thank you, and like goes on her way. She doesn't say it because she can't say words mostly. And at the same time, when she comes home to discover her grandmother dead in the kitchen,
she suddenly
just continues on her little project and is like, oh, that makes me nervous. I'm just going to hyper focus on this thing. She doesn't start screaming in distress. She doesn't go looking for someone to help. She doesn't have any strong reaction to her primary caretaker, her primary source of affection and safety and love, dead on the floor. She would understand. she would understand that happening in front of her, and she would react in a more distressed fashion. And the way that this movie mixes up, like it can't make its choice about where she sits on the spectrum and how, capable she actually is of understanding what's going on around her, processing that. It's really fucking gross.
I don't think
that it just
I think that's the worst part.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It just makes her do things that were most suitable to the story. And on that point, the other big thing, well, no, there is another big thing, but in terms of how she's portrayed in the story, the ending of the movie, aside from having Zoo's character essentially say sorry and get better over the course of like a minute-long montage after watching her be a piece of shit the whole movie, when really the second half of the movie should have been her getting better.
Right.
And like the resolution of her becoming a better person is literally she's confronted with a choice and she instead makes the right choice this time. And that's it. That's how they show, like, look, she's better. She's making the right choice this time. It doesn't show like the growth that leads to that or anything. But the very end of the movie, first off, she gets the whole romantic thing that she's going for, which she does not deserve, by barging into another person's wedding and interrupting it. But also uses music as essentially a prop in this final sequence to get like in the good graces of this family whose wedding she's busting into, and just having this cute moment with her sisters like kind of singing on stage, and then she gets the big flourishing finishing moment with this guy that she's romantically interested in, while music literally stands in the background and looks around because she doesn't really understand what's going on, because she's autistic. She doesn't understand anything. She's lost her own little magic world. That's the way that this movie fucking thinks. She is literally a prop in this piece of shit character's romantic apex at the end of the movie. It is fucking ridiculous. God.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the fucking physical component?
Sure.
That thing that people actively told her, please don't do this, it kills people, and she's like, no, it's fine.
So the same person that whatever the hell name is, Zoo breaks into America.
short for kazoo, which she mentioned. Short for kazoo. It's because it's so clever.
Either way, he's like the magical person who knows all the solutions to music's problem, to music's behavioral temperaments.
The magical black guy. Let's just leave it at that. It is an infamous trope.
Yep. And there's a point in the movie where she starts throwing a tantrum, and he puts her in a hold. And this nobody does this hold anymore for very good reason, because it literally crushes them. It crushes, especially if they're younger. It crushes them and it can kill them. It has killed people before. And this movie's saying like, no, it's a good thing. Why? Because I'm crushing her with my love.
Hasn't it killed literally thousands of autistic people?
I don't know the exact number, but it's definitely larger than you think it would be. Either way, this is a case where this goes beyond just bad portrayal. Now you're actively teaching things that are actively harmful to people. So this movie is just causing damage on literally every front. Thank God this movie didn't take off as like something to be admonished or adored in any kind of way. Because if it was, and this is what they were teaching, good God, the actual physical damage the movie could have caused would have been astronomical. But no, this goes back to Sia had no interest in listening to anyone that didn't tell her what she wanted to know or wanted to hear. This is just a arrogant, egotistic vanity project where she wanted to hear no one's opinion but her own. She wanted to believe no one else but her own beliefs. Oh, you have something?
One thing. She showed the movie to preview audiences, and people were really alarmed by those scenes. And she assured them that those scenes would not be in the final cut of the movie.
And she kept him in there anyway.
And she kept them in. There is there's just a special kind of just incredible selfishness and willful ignorance and entitlement and arrogance that it takes to do the things that Sia has done leading up to this movie, the people she's ignored, and what this movie says about her. What this movie says about how she sees the world, how she sees difficulties in life, how she sees autistic people.
Yeah.
And the statements that this movie makes are so emblematic of what is wrong with her as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And if you actually look into the back and forth about, there have been some, look it up on YouTube. There's been plenty of coverage. There are people who've done whole timelines about like how things progressed with the lead up to this movie. But the way that she responded to criticism, the way that she responded to the community, the way that she responded to autistic actors, and the way that she said stuff like, oh, we tried other actors before, we tried an autistic actor before Maddie, but they got so upset and stressed that we decided not to use them. And then later in an interview, she openly says that she wrote the role for Maddie and she would never make a movie without Maddie. Just very interesting. But all the way up to the fact that like after the movie came out, her response to criticisms of it, after people actually saw it, and then now, apparently within the past week, her coming out with this fucking sob story about how she entered rehab because she relapsed. So let's be clear what that means. This woman, after willfully resisting a bunch of people begging her to do this right, ignored them, not only kept this movie offensive, but kept it dangerous with the physical restraint technique demonstrated inside of it, against the warnings of so many fucking people, literally thousands of people trying to get through to her. And she defiantly did it and then brought it out and said, you can't judge it before you see it. And then people saw it and said, we're judging it, it's terrible. And then she's like, oh, you're wrong, you guys are so mean. And instead of maybe considering that she might be fucking wrong, relapsed and thought about killing herself. And now she's back and she's the victim.
Yep.
Fuck Sia.
Yep.
Fuck Sia. Fuck her. Like, I'm so upset that this taints her entire body of work because I really enjoyed her work before this.
Me too.
Like, I still think the Elastic Heart music video is one of the most powerful music videos I've ever seen. Like, it's such a good portrayal of like interpretive dance. It's like one of the best interpretive dance things I've ever seen. It's powerful, but
you have a woman who's so completely unwilling to listen to anything that doesn't cater to her.
And again, this comes back around to these fucking people that I've dealt with in my life, where no matter what you try to tell them, no matter how much you try to tell them about your experiences and who you are, they want to tell you what's right about what you are going through.
Yep.
And no matter how much you try to show them education that they are wrong and try to be reasonable about it and be like, hey, please at least try this. They're like, no, you're just being mean. You're just trying to fucking control me and shit. And then they come back around in the end and it comes out and people, they get the rightful backlash against it. And then they become the victims because now they feel ashamed of what they've done. And how dare you make them feel ashamed? They're the real victim because they feel bad. Go fuck yourself. I don't give a fuck. This is the thing. Like, I knew that it would end on this note because, like, that's the reason this is the number one on this list. Because there's nothing fun or funny about this movie. You can't laugh at this like we laugh at Dear Evan Hansen. It's not like Licorice Pizza isn't as actively harmful as this. It's just gross. It's not as willfully ignorant about this. It doesn't. Imagine if the Asian caricature guy was just the whole movie. That would be closer to this. And even then, not that. This is so actively fucked up and painful and harmful and upsetting all the way through. And Sia is just a piece of fucking shit. The way that she has dealt with this the whole way through. I do not fucking care that she thought about killing herself after this. I really don't. I don't give a fuck that she went back to rehab. Maybe she should have gone to a fucking therapist who would have told her, maybe this was actually the wrong thing to do. And maybe you should do something about it. Maybe you should have done something about it before it came out. But now that it's out, maybe fucking acknowledge that you were wrong and apologize instead of going like, why is everyone so mean? I made something so great. Dance moves out of stimming motions. Are you fucking kidding me? No. Yeah, Sia can go fuck herself.
Yep.
Until she's willing to acknowledge that she's actually wrong, or that people were right to be upset about this movie, like, I really don't care about what bad shit she goes through. Go back to rehab again. I don't give a fuck. Like, I just maybe someone in there will tell you that what you did was actually fucking wrong. But until she accepts responsibility, she's dead to me. I don't give a fuck.
Yep. I don't have anything to add to that. I agree with everything you just said. Yep.
Yeah.
I think that will do it for our top 10 worst of the year. We're gonna take
coming up next. Scream.
And
oh god,
stuff soon.
No, I know this is why I like doing the worst of list first, especially this time, because this is easily the worst number one.
Yeah,
like this is the worst fucking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
I can't think of anything I've seen that was more upsetting. And I've watched a Serbian film.
I don't know, like, That's My Boy still pretty high up there for me.
I haven't watched that yet. I kind of have to with what you've said about it now. I'm just kind of like, oh, that sounds real bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
to get all the way through.
But then, how long ago did That's My Boy come out?
Long time ago now.
Can you think of a single other movie that was as bad as that, or as bad as this?
Since then,
before or since
2012?
Huh?
That's My Boy came out in 2012.
Jesus. Okay.
As far as like the worst list we've done, I can't think of anything on top of my head that would top this.
Yeah. So I think it's safe to say this is kind of exceptional in its own right. Really have never seen anything quite like this. And I'm really kind of astonished that this exists in the way that it does. It literally, for me, it is literally the worst fucking thing I've ever seen on film. I really feel that strongly about it.
No, that's fair.
So
about it. Like, I'm willing to bet it's mine too. I just need to think about it.
I mean, That's My Boy sounds pretty bad, but I would say that this still sounds worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Well, thanks for watching, everybody.
Worst of 2020. Hey, 2021.
Yay. Hopefully 2022 doesn't have anything nearly as bad.
Don't jinx it.
All right, see you guys in the best love list. Bye.
Bye.